Biggs. They just wrapped up another edition of On the Soil. They talked to Eric Davis. I didn't know that brother was like all that cold.
I didn't either.
You know, Gino is the baseball expert, right? So whatever he say, that's how I'm rolling. So just hearing how he's been talking about him since they actually scheduled that interview made me like look like, how cold was this dude? It's legit.
Shout out to Don for the guest look.
Yeah, Don is the deal, G.
Guest look is outrageous.
Don is the plug.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing.
She is the plug.
Don is dead at the
But
plug.
Gino and Mace, why are we being left out over here?
Well, that's not really true.
Okay, well, break it down for me.
Oh, a wise guy, eh?
What she do? She set us up with Scoop.
Okay.
I've had Scoop's number for a while.
Salute.
But even like I'm associated to it, Don is like, boom. You know what I'm saying? So I be like, hey, let's get you on the show sometime. I'm like, yeah, let's set it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. We'll do. Don like, hey, yo, I need you on the show tomorrow. Like, okay.
Okay.
Sit your $5 down before I make change.
Like, it's different with the big little sis, man.
The last of the Gambinos or something.
For real. She about that action. So shout out to Don, man. Shout out to the book of Don.
WIFTBPN.
All right, well, Angela Oya Fumike. As you know, this is I Do, I Did, I Don't on the What's in It for the Black People media. Start our way into this journey of divorce and healing.
So we came together under a survival mentality, not under a friendship of being in love. First being friends and then being in love, of growing in love. We came together under, we're trying to survive, we're two kids trying to survive. Okay, we're going to survive together, because if you're handling this end of the survival and I'm handling this end,
Years that you've accepted this is what it's been, and now you've made this decision, and he wasn't there. He wasn't even seeing that you were done.
Here's what it was. Just like I ignored on the front end that he didn't love me like that, he was so disconnected from me by the point when I decided to leave that he didn't see the writing on the wall.
Wow.
Just didn't see it. But he didn't know that woman because he never took the time to meet her.
Mm-hmm. And so you created your plan, and that's key, I think, in having a plan. If you are going to, whether you're deciding together that this isn't going to work any longer and we're splitting, and having a plan on how you're going to move forward is pretty key. You knew at this point I had to create your own plan, and you were moving forward with that. In my case, I didn't have a plan. Things happened pretty abruptly, and I was creating a plan on the fly along the way. I don't recommend that. You forgive yourself. You forgive you. Do the work of forgiving yourself that you may be able to actually forgive others.
Rogers, let me ask a question. Do either that son or your grandson smell like transmission fluid? We trying to find Ruthie a husband. You funny ladies.
Trying to find Ruthie a husband?
We trying to find Ruthie a husband.
You heard that good,
Let me ask you, Rogers, what does Ruthie need to do to find her husband?
I listen to her little voice. I like that little passion voice she got.
Hey, she say...
I know you kind of small, ain't you?
She said you got a pension?
Huh?
She said you got a pension?
Look here, I'm coming down to where you on station located at? Where y'all located?
We down here in Bronzeville. Look, this is what we gonna do. We gonna get you, we gonna do a love connection off the line. Rogers, I wanna tell you, man, thank you so much for calling.
You all downtown somewhere?
Yeah, we downtown. I'm gonna put
y'all talking about it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get the address. I'm gonna come into y'all station one morning.
We gonna have you come down. We gonna have you and Ruthie, and we gonna have you sit
I'm
right
an early bird anyway.
Ruthie, you can be the grandmama, the great grandmama of over 110 children.
I love big families.
You know what I'm saying? 110.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Hey Chicago, it's Dawn Millhouse from the Book of Dawn. There's a lot of fake news about the COVID vaccine, just false information. So our station has joined the Protect Chicago team to help share the truth about the vaccine and dispel the rumors. I hear all the time, I've already had COVID. I don't need the vaccine. You're wrong. Get the facts by visiting the What's in It for the Black People Media page on Facebook and www.chicago.gov/COVIDVax. That's COVIDVAX. We're in this together, Chicago.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Great afternoon to you wonderful people. Welcome to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Each and every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. we get together right here with you all and we discuss issues as they impact the black community, how they impact us as individuals, but also how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for overcoming said issues. Again, overcome them as individuals, but perhaps more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of this very important conversation. We think it is the blackest conversation in America. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request that you please take a quick second to share the broadcast, share it on your personal page, share it even within your personal network. Anyone that you think would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion because we believe the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of this discussion, the better the opportunities we have of reaching those aforementioned solutions. So please, if you will, take a quick second to share the broadcast. Again, this is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. As you can see on Tucson's wonderful hoodie. My name is Herb. His name is Tu. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, family? I'm blessed and highly favored. How you?
Man, I'm good, man. What's that you got over there? What you drinking over there, man?
This is green water.
Okay.
In the new I Said What I Said coffee cup.
I see you out here in these streets, man. I see you out here in these streets.
Shit,
I dig it.
We just branding it.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. I dig it. Thank you to everybody who
oh man, you know what? Hold up.
What's up?
Let me take that last shit back. I'm so sorry.
Oh, right. We gotta get it. Hold on. Wait. Go ahead. Put it on.
Today's February 1st.
Today is February 1st.
And
first day of Black History Month.
First day of Black History Month. And in honor of the ancestors, because we respect our elders, and we're going to show some respect, and we're going to show some, what's the word I want to use here? Some discipline and some reserve.
Some restraint.
We're not going to curse for the entire month of February.
Write it down. Put it in the book.
That's right.
Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a.
Time was 3:15 Central Standard Time.
What we're going to do is we're not prepared today,
right?
Because we know we might make a mistake, right? So we're going to get a curse jar, and we're going to put dollar tips in it every time we curse. $
1? We should probably use a quarter.
No, I'm going to use $1. We got to make it $1.
What
Wish you was a quarter.
we gotta make it $1 because at the end of the month we want to be able to donate it to the charity of our choice.
Okay.
Mainly somebody black, somebody doing something in the city, specifically probably Southside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're gonna be trying very hard to leverage some restraint.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
There you have it, people, for the entire month of February.
We can make it a game, right? You all can keep counting just like us. So, sometimes it flows out so naturally
that we miss it.
Realize this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yup. I'm counting on it.
So, for the entire month of February, we will not be cursing when I say what I said.
That's right.
Tell somebody.
We're trying some new things around here.
No cuss Black History Month. G. Willikers.
G. Willikers.
Son of a brother.
Dadgummit.
Mother trucker.
Right.
We're going to be trying all of that. You know what I mean?
You mother fudge cake.
See how long this lasts.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do, man. Do y'all think we can do it? Y'all think we can get that done?
I think you guys can do anything you put your mind to it.
I think so, too.
I don't believe it.
But probably not.
So that is the go. Shannon said, why?
We just said why.
Why?
We honoring the elders.
A lot of times, our more seasoned people amongst us were like, man, I want to watch our show. It's a little bit too much curse for me. And we don't really care about that part of it in terms of people just watching it. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. But just in observation of Black History Month and honoring the ancestors, we are going to observe, some of those wishes of some of our more seasoned saints that don't want us cursing. And so we are going to not curse for the entire month of February.
We're going to try to not curse.
We're going to do the very best we can.
We're going to take baby steps.
Right.
Let's make it through Monday.
I got it ready.
Yeah, just keep that ready.
That's right. When I point, just push that real long.
Look at Alvin, man. F that sugar honey iced tea. Say how you effing feel.
on
Shut the front door.
Boosie say frequently asked questions now.
On our YouTube page.
They gonna make it.
What about test your work?
We don't
clean it up.
We don't own the music.
Herb gonna slip on Wednesday evening.
We don't own the
Lyrics?
music.
Can we say lyrics?
Oh no, we're not talking about on that show.
Yeah.
Only on I Said What I Said. Herb 2. Blink twice if y'all okay. Save us.
What is it? Nick Bait?
Help us. This is not a drill.
But
Shannon said that's what makes it is with. Shannon, come on now. Stop being a bad influence on us. You know it's going to be easy for us to start cursing.
On our YouTube page, Christy Love says, yay, if you cuss, pay $20 each word. And she says, I quit keeping count after the first 100 in the first 15 minutes.
Where we going? If we're going to pay $20 per curse word all month of February, where we going to live in March?
Yeah, we'd be broke. Nobody's mortgage is getting paid. It'll be over.
I got a spot.
You got a spot?
You can't tell nobody about it.
Oh,
okay.
And you can only leave from like 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Oh,
okay. Mira.
Okay.
Got a special word to get in and everything.
I'm scared of you. All right. Escobar.
Esco with the hookup.
Esco, what's going on, love? How you feeling?
I feel great.
She's already making it difficult. I want to chime in.
Let's go.
I didn't say I wasn't gonna do it.
It's always good to get to hang out with you, Scope. Glad that you is here and feeling well, ma'am. I'm feeling pretty good too. Going on. That snow this weekend was kind of bananas. I mean, we live where we live, so I'm not finna sit up here and super complain about it. But it snowed like all day.
Oh yeah.
From Saturday afternoon it started, and then it just went all the way through Sunday. Like,
yeah. Yesterday at 11, I started digging my car out.
yeah. No, I had to dig my car out trying to get from behind the crib. Sunday morning, trying to get to the studio by like 7:15 for I don't. With Latasha, and made it up here, but man, it was a challenge. It was a challenge. DJ.
It was hard shoveling with one hand. I need a man.
You is crazy.
Hey, even to what Esco just said, she said, I need a man, whatever. But there was also this conversation happening online where sisters was feeling like brothers was shaming them for being single because they had to shovel their snow. Did you catch wind of any of that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, man, it was an interesting conversation where, and I think it really was a real bitter kind of, really a feminine kind of gesture from the man who was making them kind of statements.
That's lame as hell.
You know what I mean? But it was it was a prevalent kind of like meme theme that was taking place online. Like, all you single women now, you need a man now. And one, it just trivializes the value of manhood.
Shannon just called us lollipops. first day of Black History Month. Now y'all want to act like lollipops.
Man, we can't even show respect to the elders. You know what I mean? That's terrible, man. That's terrible.
Shannon say, man, I ain't with it. I ain't with it at all.
I know, man. That's terrible.
We're gonna see what we can do.
But yeah, it was this meme kind of war going on where it's like, look at you single women now, got to shovel your own snow. I just thought that was real.
Yeah, that's lame as hell.
And it's kind of a reference point to where we are in regards to our understanding of masculinity. You know what I mean? If you see a woman struggling with us, know whether she's your woman or not, why wouldn't you jump out there and help?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
You know what I mean? That's some real cornball stuff, man.
Super cornball. Not to mention the sheer math says that a lot of women are going to be single. Like unless we adopt new alternative styles of relating, a lot of women are going to be single. It's just more women than there are men. Then you got homosexuals, and then you got incarcerated, and you got whatever else. Like,
how do you quantify single though? Right? You might not have the brand of someone relating with you, but someone's relating with you.
Somebody is relating.
You know what I mean? I mean, this kind of dives into that T.I. Tiny conversation in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But, we can rebrand it all we want.
Hell ain't a curse word, Tiger. It's in the Bible.
The reality of it is that there's not a woman out here that can't get her needs met. That's the reality, whatever those needs may be.
Needs, okay.
Whatever those needs may be, even if it's just shoveling my snow.
No, I hear you. I thought you said something else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just said needs. That's all I said. You know what I mean? So how we label relationship is one thing, right? But if you might call her your side piece, you might call her my little dip off, you might call her whatever. But if you're spending any kind of engagement there, you're relating, and there's a relationship. You know what I mean? But I think we kind of leverage the narrative that unless someone has said publicly that this is my XYZ, it's not a relationship. No, you relating. It already is an alternative relationship. So
I think
by the very narrative of what relationship means.
Yeah, I think the entire construct is flawed when you have to say alternative, relationships, right? I think that everybody's relationship should be unique and individual to them. And so, this idea of it being alternative to what? To what somebody else says the accepted norm of how things should be. Like, it should be however you and your partner decided it is. And then that can work for y'all. I do get your point though. If somebody's getting the box, somebody should be helping you shovel snow or something, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that makes sense to me. But I do want to read a quick comment from Chris Harlan, and I lost it. He says, quite the contrary. I saw many black women laughing about using the average man to shovel their car out while acknowledging they don't give a damn about them.
It's not the contrary, though. I think it's the exact same philosophy. It's the
same BS.
Mantra, right? It's just this very transactional belief system that we have.
No different when we talk about, the woman talking about how much money he got and the dude talking about how big her booty is. Like, it ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's just the opposite side of the same coin. That's really it. So whether it's the women talking about, oh, look at this dude over here, he came over here, shut up my snow, and I ain't giving him time of day. Okay, fine. And then you got the dude over there, oh, I bet you wish you had a man now. You got to, same it's foolish behavior.
It's petty and simple, right? But it all goes back to the same thing. It goes back to the transactional way in which we behave, which is a remnant of our capitalist country. You know what I mean?
That's real.
So it prevents us from relating in a natural way. You know what I mean? So everything is a negotiation. Shorty got a big booty. Let me jump out the car and see if she needs help with her snow.
Right.
Right, but if Shorty
popped, or if Shorty is whatever your idea of popped is, then she don't deserve help.
Yeah,
she ain't worthy of help.
Yeah,
splash water on them.
I get less. You struggling?
You ever splash water on people at like a bus stop?
Nah, not on purpose.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah,
That
you
that
did it. You
I
did
swear
it.
to God, I've never done that. What I say? T.
$2 for Herb already?
What did I say?
I missed both of those.
Me too.
We're gonna have to play the tape.
Run
back.
the tape.
We're gonna have to
Run the tape back. What did
We'll
I
have to run
say?
the tape.
I think y'all just trying to get me to come up off my little dollars.
We're gonna have to run the tape. But yeah, it goes just to the transactional nature in which we relate. But even to the point you was making, like we need to redefine how we discuss relationships. It kind of goes back to what we was talking about on last Relationship Friday, or maybe the one previous to the last Relationship Friday. I don't remember. But when the conversation of rules came up, you know, and I think it was Juliet
Scott.
Juliet Scott that said, you know, rules. You know, who cares if you're breaking the rules if nobody's getting physically harmed? And I responded and I said, no, you know, in my mind, I don't believe that. It's not about nobody getting harmed. I think rules provide structure. And what we're recognizing is that the only rule today is, what can I get? And out of that, you still don't have any structure. So what you get out of that is just a savage or a greedy person or what's the word I'm looking for here? It's just no barriers, right? You abuse and use people to your benefit for whatever manner. You know what I mean? So it's laughable when you're a woman that I don't.
Just manipulating all of your relationships.
It's all manipulative. Right? So nothing's pure. You know what I mean? Nothing's based in any reality. And then you get a situation like the T.I. and Tiny conversation, right? And you know, not to say that the sister's lying, but I'm gonna say the sister's lying. And I'm gonna say that because
what are the allegations on that piece? Because I've only heard a little bit about it, and then I kind of just leave it alone. I have a issue with like those types of allegations, just me personally, and so I don't know. But what was it? They said they was messing around with some young girls through like some type of, I don't know.
So it's one particular
escort service.
It's one particular that they was dealing with for amount of time. She's a regular in their relationship.
Okay,
you know what I mean. She gets hits off with a check or something.
Yeah,
come through, do what you do.
Right.
You know, they also are engaged in like, ecstasy and drug usage and all that.
Yeah.
So it was a point where they was on ecstasy or whatever they was on. Let me not say that.
Right.
Allegedly.
They were inebriated.
Right. Allegedly they was doing that and, it got out of hand.
Under the influence.
Or she wasn't with it. Or she kept coming back looking for a check when they wasn't on that type of time.
Right.
And it got to a point where they say he pulled a pistol on her or something like that.
Oh, wow.
But either way, though, this is happening over time. Like
I don't see that.
This woman's son calls T.I. Uncle T.I. You understand what I'm saying?
Uncle T.I. is beating the
and
doing
then
these
there
off
was
your mom.
these other allegations that came out about all these other women. But then it was found out that through social media, random women were sending this woman messages that she had no basis of guilt for real. It was just random women, and she was posting them as if they were true. Some women were sending those posts specifically to invalidate her claim. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. I just want to focus on the one woman who's been there over time,
right?
Who the case was brought up by, and her son calls T.I. Uncle T.I. You know what I mean? And I just thought about it, and it's a large contingency of people saying, believe the woman. And for me, it has remnants of the Bill Cosby conversation. Believe the woman, and all these women can't be lying. But in my mind, if you'll sell box, why wouldn't you sell lies?
Makes sense,
right? And if that's the conversation, right? Where does morality play a role in this conversation at all?
It doesn't. It goes back, like you said. It's what can I get, and if I can get something out of it, then there is no scale of morality that would make me. But that's alter my behavior.
But that's for both parties involved.
And
Tiny as well.
100%.
You know what
they're not absolved, even though they may not be guilty of what she's accusing them of, right? And I don't know. They may not be guilty of what she's accusing them of, but that doesn't mean that they are not responsible or shouldn't be accountable for their role. And if y'all put yourself in a certain situation, and now you got to deal with what comes from that. And the fact of the matter is, when you are a public figure, or even when you are not, people want to believe the worst. Like somebody hears something like that, bad news travels way faster than good news, right? And so let's say this whole thing plays out, and at the end of the day, it turns out she lying, completely false, right? Nobody's gonna be like, you're not gonna hear this. It's not gonna be like front page news or nothing like that about that she was wrong or no apology is going to be issued, nothing like that. But when the allegations are made, everybody jumps on it because it's provocative. It gets the people going. People want to believe it, and it's a conversation. And so people kind of just jump on it. And T.I. and Tiny kind of got to understand that, especially when you choose to live the lifestyle that they choose to live. It's just, I don't know.
So Shannon Young said, but they weren't selling box. Help me understand. She was selling box.
Oh, she was. From what I hear, she's
coming over to get down, and I'm giving you a check.
Selling box.
Sounds like you was selling box to me.
What am I paying her for?
I don't. Yeah. Maybe she was selling time. I know we justify things differently.
Selling time, baby.
Right? I know we justify different things differently here. So maybe she was selling time.
Timeshares,
right? But either way, that goes into the conversation. Like morality is on this sliding scale.
Even still, if I buy you for 3 hours, then for 3 hours, you mad.
To do as I please.
Right.
And from my understanding, as they please was ecstasy and
vagina.
Box eating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I have a little bit of T.I. responding.
Okay.
It might have cussing. I don't know. Is that okay?
That's cool. We not cussing.
Just not cussing.
Now, what we not gonna do is open up the door to my bedroom, as you shouldn't have to either. Open up the door to my bedroom for everybody to come in, chime in, and make their opinions about what we do and don't do or should or shouldn't do. But I will say this. Whatever we ever have done has been done with consensual adults who into what we into and like what we like. If we want something, we know exactly where to go to get it. We ain't never forced nobody. We ain't never drugged nobody against their will. We ain't never held nobody against their will. We ain't never made nobody do anything. We ain't never trafficked anything. Well, sexually trafficked anything. I ain't never raped nobody. Never raped nobody. Also, I'm gonna tell you what's factual. There have been fake stories put up that blog sites anonymously sent to this person. Blog sites anonymously sent fake stories to this person, and the person posted it as though it was a victim, that they were sure that it was a victim and it has been victimized. And what?
Yeah, so T.I., vehemently denying these allegations, saying like, nah, like he's admitting that they do what they do, right? I ain't got to go into details about what happens behind my bedroom door, which is fair. But we do what we do. And whoever we've done it with was a consenting adult.
But see, he opened the doors to his bedroom door. The public didn't open the doors to his bedroom door.
How and when?
He opened the doors to his bedroom door when he invited those other women into his bedroom. Because them women didn't. Because those women did not sign the contract that his wife signed. She's not a part of that union. Mm-hmm. They're not a part of that union. Mm-hmm. So anybody that walks out of that room, that door, they are not abiding by the rules of what happens within that house.
Oh yeah, for sure. So they can go out and say, I was here, but what I'm saying is in response to it, I don't have to be like, no, this is exactly what happened in my bedroom. Like I don't have to give y'all a peek behind the curtain like that.
Because you and your wife have a binding agreement, right? Because you and your wife have a binding agreement. Mm-hmm. That's what that marriage is. It's a binding agreement in the eyes of religion. Mm-hmm. Right? So this is where I get
even lost. In law, you can't compel a spouse to testify against,
This is where I get lost at, right? Because the only marriage is a Christian concept. Am I wrong?
I would say no. You got other religions that marry. When you get married,
you are joined within a union within the eyes of God. Mm-hmm. Right? It is then looked at within the measures of the law. Mm-hmm. Right, and in that union, there are certain tenets to say this is what binds this union.
Sure.
Right. Now, I'm not the moral police. Right. I'm not the moral police at all. Mm-hmm. I'm not. For real. But if you agree to those tenets, and then you make another amendment to those tenets, that's what I mean. Where the rules get shape-shifted.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have to abide by the rule. We make the rule up as we go, and everybody else outside of that union. And this we just use T.I. because he's in the public sphere right now. But we could take this conversation to the CTU, CPS conversation. Mm-hmm. We could take this conversation to the carjackers. We could take this conversation across the board. Mm-hmm. The rules keep getting skewed because the people outside of those particular realms of life, whatever's happening around there, we keep saying, well, who am I to judge? But if there's no judge, then there's no rule. There's no law. If nobody's to judge, then law don't matter.
Yeah.
Right? But so at some point, judgment has to have a value. Right? And if you... As from the seller's standpoint, right? If I'm to believe you're selling your body, and maybe I'm confused here, and I'm open to whatever criticisms I receive. Maybe I'm confused here, right? But I would assume that your body has some intrinsic value to you that supersedes a sales point.
It should.
It should, I would assume.
Yeah,
right?
it should.
Right? So if you're willing to sell what's most valuable to you, then what are your limitations? And if we're not going to judge that person, then why do we judge the 10-year-old that's carjacking your mama? Because it's the same philosophy in my mind. Ain't no rules. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get whatever I want to get.
That's a big jump.
Is it? Help me understand why.
That's a big jump because first of all, I don't subscribe to any idea of there being these, set in stone rules to relating, right? I think again that is for any given, 2 partners, 3 partners, whatever, to make up those rules. So I don't think that there's this certain way that everybody's relationship should be. That doesn't make sense to me. So I don't believe that.
There's context here. Because when she's getting paid, she's not relating. She's negotiating her body. She's not rich. That's my point. She's not a part of this union. She's not relating. She's getting paid. She's providing a service.
Sure.
Right? So I'm using what I have. This ain't part of a relationship. This is part of a negotiation. It's a different context. Right? So if we're not going to judge any of that, then what's wrong with the shorty? If he don't shoot nobody, per se, when he take you about your car.
Or you stealing somebody else's stuff.
It's whatever I can leverage to get what I need.
No. You have.
I'm 10 years old. I can leverage this pistol to get to what I need.
Sure you can.
If I don't shoot you, then why I ain't validated in doing it?
Because I can hear what you're saying on that piece. I'm saying it's different because in this other situation, you're talking about 2 people agreeing to exchange something. Right? You give me this, I'll give you that. We ain't agreeing to exchange nothing. You just put a pistol in my face and took my stuff.
Until they decide to cut her off, and then she takes him to the court of law and say, you took this from me. It's only using the next level of her negotiation to get to what she wants.
Yeah, and that's the risk they take in being involved in that situation.
But the risk you take in driving is run up on the 10-year-old with a pistol.
No, fam.
Why not?
No.
If there's no rules, there cannot be it's no rules.
No, fam.
I don't understand.
No, fam. No.
We keep putting these things in these nice little boxes and think those boxes don't spill over. I think that representation of behavior is the same representation that is leveraged in raising the last 2 generations of children. There are no rules. As long as I get to the money, there are no rules. Trump can be the president and say, I can do whatever I want to do because I got all the assumed power. So the only rule is victory. If I put this out in the public as the mistress to T.I. and Tiny, whoever, and I don't even want to call her mistress because a mistress usually ain't being paid. This is by choice. This is a prostitute. Right? So if I put this out in the media, let's think about the Bill Cosby conversation. Right? This is an exact replica in a lot of ways. Right? There's a lot of people that chime in and say, hey, I was part of this too. I was part of this too. And then all these cases start to compound. And then the public reception said, well, everybody can't be lying. We don't got no proof of what Bill Cosby did with them women.
Nah.
Right? But what we do have proof of is that, one, they stayed around Bill Cosby for a certain amount of years. Some of them got paid tuition to college. Some of them got world trips, went on world tours. It just doesn't look like rape to me. Right? But in the moment that they felt like they were unjustly able to get or milk anything else out of him, hey, we got one more option. Right? Even in the cases of Weinstein, right? And again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Sure.
Right? In the cases of Weinstein, where he says to a woman, you want this part, sleep with me. You got a choice. You can say, this part isn't that important to me. Why are you a victim if you've made the choice? Because you had a choice. He didn't beat you in your head and take the box. He said, you want this part. He just had more negotiating chips. The boy with the gun is 10. That's his negotiation chip.
I'm not negotiating with you, sir. This is not a negotiation. This is a robbery.
Still a negotiation.
I'm not robbing Shorty of her box.
Still a negotiation.
And she's not robbing me of my money.
They robbed Bill Cosby of his freedom when they couldn't negotiate no more. The 10-year-old ain't got as much to negotiate with. I just think it's an interesting question. I think it's a very interesting question. And I think we keep putting these little things in these little boxes and say, oh, it's okay if they do it.
No, I understand the residual effects of some of the decisions that we make. And just in this case, that's too far a bridge for me to cross from that thing to that thing. I see what you're saying. I can't get from that point to that point in that particular comparison. But I do see what you're saying, and I especially feel you on the piece about things kind of spilling out and there being these other unintended consequences or collateral damage, if you will, to some of the things that we do and some of the lifestyle choices that we make. I remember in The Wire when Detective Bunk was talking to Omar, and he was like, and Omar's, he's all about his code, right? His code of the streets, and I ain't never put my gun on nobody, wasn't in the game and all that. And, he believed in the code. He lived by it. He was honorable to that code. But even in that, Bunk is like, man, you think because you try to do it with some honor, you think all this death and stuff don't ripple out? All these murders across the neighborhood, you don't think that ripple out? You don't think have no unintended effects? You don't think there's no collateral damage with that? Like them people don't got kids. Now what these kids gonna do? He's like, well, I was just out there by that murder scene where you got some people killed out there or killed some people out there, and it's kids out there calling you by name, glorifying you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be Omar this time with the shotgun and all that. Like there are, it ripples out. So I get you on that piece.
So his comments, Devin says, nah, too, that's robbery. Bro, ain't nobody sticking them grown women up for their cooch.
Right.
Right? Now, we're leveraging T.I. and Tiny. But let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
There's an entire culture of women who prey on wealthy men, leveraging their box as the prey.
Or $40
I have no
net.
intent to relate to that man. I just need to get pregnant, or I just need to I just need to have sex with you so I can write this book. I just need for you to touch this box in some kind of way. Now, they might not be using a gun, but is it not robbery?
No, it's not robbery, too. It's not robbery.
How not?
Because
I'm leveraging your access to resource to provide me resource.
But
with the tools that I have to get there.
You're willing, though, right? So you could say when you
might have been willing to bring a girl into their bedroom. They were not willing to have this be a public conversation. But when it came time for it to become a public conversation, because that's the leverage she had, what you was willing to do don't matter.
No, I'm just saying in terms of the box for pay, right? They both willing to do that. And so you can say I went to the store and overpaid for something, and you got robbed. Well, you can say that, but I gave them my money for whatever the product was. You know what I'm saying? And did I overpay for it or whatever? Perhaps. But it was still my choice. I ain't choose to give nobody my car because they had a pistol.
So that's the definer? That's the distinctive difference?
Yeah, that both parties are consenting to this transaction.
Okay. So let's say 20 years prior.
Mm-hmm.
20 years prior, if this would have been a public conversation, like think about how we even communicate about this, because this is a hot topic of conversation. Right? A lot of people are talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's talked about in a way that's normalized. Nobody's offended. Nobody's amazed. Nobody's like, Jesus, they had a whole harem of women that would come in and sleep with both of them for the last XYZ amount of years. It's normalized.
I'm shocked.
I don't know why.
I did not know that family hustled like that.
That family hustles.
Yo, Skull, why you say poor Tiny?
Because
you say poor Tiny for her to have
but
a man
Tiny's
who's
with it.
Yeah, she's completely complicit in this whole thing. Why poor Tiny?
Because my first reaction was Tiny, but back in the day, Tiny. When the show first came out, and she's such a great mom.
Mm-hmm.
But then I looked at the comments, I'm like, you guys are right. Fast forward, she chose to stay there. And then they went through this whole thing where he didn't want to be married, so she left the house. Some goofy stuff. And then the video with another girl came out, and then the whole change of the eye color.
Yeah.
And allowing her daughter to do that. It all came to me, and I'm like, I don't feel bad for you no more.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, she is complicit.
But that's all subjective, though, too, right? Because I know Full Out Killers did a great father.
She's a co-conspirator.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
And, no judgment.
Listen.
You know what I'm saying?
Do what you do.
Do what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we keep saying do what you do, then where's the line?
Mm-hmm.
There is no line. There'll never be a line. It can't be. It would only be a line for those of us who are powerless. Other than that, there would be no line. If there is no rule, there is no standard except for those who are powerless, then where's the line you're drawn? And then again, I go back to the 10-year-old carjacker. Ain't no line for y'all, but I'm 10 and I can't eat. You think I'm finna follow them rules? I got this tool. I can get some respect.
Yeah, and listen, on that piece, I'm not even against you on that, right? I'm not even against you on the robbery thing. I'm saying it's a separate thing. Is all I'm saying. I think that it is a much bigger crime against humanity that the 10-year-old is starving and finds that as his best or only means to get food, right? I find that to be a bigger crime against humanity than stealing a car. You know what I mean?
But it's not the best or his only means to get food. We just talked about the snowstorm, right? If you looked outside your window, at least in our neighborhoods, I didn't see no shorties walking around with shovels.
I did, actually.
I didn't, right? And it kind of alarmed me because we've kind of fell into the same kind of mentality. It goes back to the thing when I was talking
So instead of stealing the car, go steal a shovel. You can come up on $100 today.
You could. You could. But that means labor-intensive work. And who does that? Who values that? Right? Because all I got to do is cheat, steal, rob to get to where I want because that is the narrative of success. I can get this whip off. If I just sell it to another little homie in the neighborhood, I can get $200-$300 just for them to joyride for a couple of days. You know what I mean? I'm going to work 10 hours to make $100. Right? And I'm not justifying it. I'm saying the behavior is the same behavior that we see at the top. It's the same behavior that we see at the bottom. Right? But we judge the bottom. We don't judge the top. Right? And morality in relation to leadership is a direct reflection. Right? So if the leadership is immoral, then everybody under that tree is going to be immoral as well. Right? And I'm not saying T.I.'s community leadership. That's not what I'm saying. But he is a public figure. Right? And it's not just T.I. The women and I keep saying women because it's easier to kind of make this basis. But if we just open up our Instagrams right now and go to the Explore page, what do you see? What are they selling?
Models.
Box.
What's the idea?
Photo shoot.
This cooch costs some capital. And this is how I'm going to survive. What are the dudes selling? Ignorance and criminality. Wasn't we just played the Charleston White conversation? Said, man, why should I respect you? It don't make no sense for me to respect you.
A lot of IG models moved to OnlyFans. I was surprised.
Yeah, because
it's some
it's pay per prescription.
Right? Even the ones that you might have thought were moral.
Pay per view.
Watch me crack this box open because I can get more money.
Yeah.
And everybody keeps saying, well, it's okay. Do what you got to do. Use what you got to get what you want. But then the minute the 10-year-old busts out with a 9mm, he's using what he got to get what he want. And then we're judging. The audacity, all the parents. Let's create a crime bill 2.0. But he's being raised in an environment where everybody's moving like this, and it's okay.
On some level, I can see you. Again, though, in OnlyFans, you have two people consenting to a transaction. And to me, that makes all the difference in that particular comparison. Now, you talk about how people choose to get to what they get into. That's a real conversation. I just can't say it's the same thing because in my mind, there's no direct victim here. If you want to pay Shorty $20 a month to look at her box on OnlyFans, so be it. That's what you want to do. Now, if she come in your crib, take your $20, that's a different thing.
But those are remnants of the same behavior set, too. Somebody just mentioned Cardi B. Right? Cardi B came out not too long ago. It was like, yeah, when I was a stripper, I leveraged this to get some dudes drunk or high, and I robbed them.
Yeah, no, she told that whole story, and nobody was upset.
Nobody.
Like, wait a minute. You drugged these dudes and robbed them
They
dudes.
was mad at the dudes. You should have let it happen.
Right.
Right?
You drugged and robbed these dudes.
This ain't a gender conversation for me, right? I get it. Box sells. Box has value, intrinsic value to the average human man, right? It has, but it's being leveraged to move however I want to move to get to the goal of capital, right? Penis don't have that kind of value, not in that way.
Why is that?
It don't have that kind of value.
Why is that?
Except for maybe with a homosexual man.
Why is that? Let me and I'll ask you why is that, because in any other I don't know, sales transaction, there's supply and demand. The shorter the supply, the greater the demand, higher the price.
But that's part of the condition, and the supply of penis ain't short. It goes back to the relationship conversation about how we title relationship, right?
Yeah, women can get penis in, like,
yeah.
What Chris Rock said, women get offering penis 5-6 times a day. Anytime a man being nice to you, all he doing is offering penis. Let me get the door for you. You like some dick?
That's what it is. Right? It's not a shortage.
Dollar.
It's gonna be there. Right? But that's a conditioning. Right? Just like the conditioning of box has some extra intrinsic value. It's still a conditioning. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same thing, but it works. So when they're using that as a tool to leverage them to get to wherever level of whatever value that they really see,
yeah,
I don't see how we judge the little man is 10 for using a pistol. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't. I'm having a hard time because I'm with you on part of it, and I'm just not with you on the connecting piece. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm never gonna sit here and spend, the majority of my time dealing with the symptoms of a problem if we're not gonna get to the root cause of it. So you ain't gonna sit here and take about get me to be like, yo, we gotta focus on this shorty. Like, no, let's focus on why he's doing that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's deal with that piece more so than you want me to try to go round up every shorty with a pistol that's stealing cars and joyride. Like, nah, let's go get to the reason why they're doing that. All right, we can take care of all of it in one fell swoop if we do it the right way.
I just question where we are when anything can be justified, right? I just question where we are when there's only rules for some subsects of the society, right? We just saw at least 10,000 people storm the Capitol building.
Who's the victim in this T.I. Tiny box trading thing? Is there a victim here?
I think all of them are victims, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. Right? I just think it's where you start to digging for victimhood at. Right? I think somewhere in your life you've been a victim if you selling your box to survive. I think you've been victimized somewhere. I do. Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe you've been victimized somehow. Mm-hmm. Right? T.I. and Tiny, I think if they into that, they've been victimized somehow. Personally, that's what I think. Right? I think if you're buying a human being, you've been victimized somewhere. That's what I think.
But what about housekeepers or chefs, or you know what I mean? Like, I buy you, you come here.
No, you buy their service, and if your service is attached,
what difference does it make if your service is a box or your service is wiping down this counter?
My service isn't my body; it's not my temple.
Gee, you ever see like the intensive labor that some of these people be going through cleaning up these big dumbass mansions?
We can justify it how we want to justify it.
I'm not justifying it. I'm saying
justify it how we want to justify it.
I'm saying, like, what's the difference? If I'm buying a person, I'm buying you to clean them up. I'm buying you to scrub my toilet. I'm buying you to scrub my testicles.
Excuse me?
Whatever.
So you're buying time.
Yeah, I'm buying time. I'm buying service. We can say I'm buying you. And then you just go do what I bought you to go do. Now, whether that's for me to play with your box or you to mop my floor,
it's not the same.
Why? I'm asking you why.
It's not, man. So again, man, I would assume there would be some kind of spiritual connectivity to the value of your body.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
The value of your body is very different than the value of your service.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I have no innate connection to no design I make that I say, I don't give a darn about that.
Filth, flooring.
Filth, flooring. Take this here, this product, leverage it however you want to leverage it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not attached to me.
Right.
Right? But I what's the STD thing? Like, if you have sex with one person, you shared it with another person. You shared 6 partners with another person or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right? That's spiritual connectivity to intimate relating. It is.
Okay.
Right? Think about this. This is a true story. You get down with your old lady. right? And if your old lady has an attitude for the next 4 days, something wrong with you because you just gave her that.
Really?
True story. True story.
Something wrong with your pipe game because she shouldn't be walking around with an attitude after you just got
How have you related? but it's those soul tie conversation. You have shared a portion of your spirit with this person.
What if I ain't got no attitude?
Think
though?
about a prostitute. They got to detach themselves from the sexual relationship because it's killing their spirit.
I don't know, too.
So it ain't the same as cooking you mac and cheese. I don't have no spiritual connection to these noodles. It's not the same. In my opinion, again, and I may be wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. I know people talk about these. I know people talk about these soul ties. I know people talk about this transference of energy and all these things when you talk about sex. Perhaps, you know what I mean? It's that sounds great. That sounds great. But like I don't know. I don't know that to be the case, G. Like I don't know that to be the case. For real. Like
Dr. Audrey says those stats are
for HPV transmission.
But she's saying even in the medical terminology, it's real. You're sharing your body with 6 people. You know what I mean? 6 different spirits that you don't even recognize. You don't even know these people. You don't know what they did. Maybe the dude was Jerry Doubtner. I don't know.
Yeah, the physical stuff, I get it. The spiritual, emotional, like I don't know that to be true. I know it sounds good, and I know that everybody's on that train, and I know everybody's like, oh, it's this thing. I don't know that's the case. Sometimes it's just sex, and you never think about it again. Now, did you leave there with some spiritual thing that's kind of hovering over you around? I don't know. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm not finna be sitting and be like, yeah, she just gave you her whole spirit. Now you walking around with her spirit for the rest of your life. No, I didn't. She gave me a half hour of a good time. I gave her the same. We went our separate ways. Like,
it would be easy for me to say, yeah, sex is just sex, right? Because I've had a lot of sex that was just sex, right? But I was also walking in a very unconscious manner, right? It's just the reality.
Whatever, Sean.
As I started to obtain consciousness and understanding of Tucson, I started to look at that very differently, right? The things I would do at 25 are very different than the things I would do at 35. And even the things I would do at 35 was very different to the things I would do at 45.
History has been made. Adrian actually agrees with me on something. It's the first time it is with his history.
That's all well and good. I've never agreed with Adrian and most of the stuff she said, so this is just
Are you
fodder for me. Just fodder for me that makes me know I'm right. But no, I'm being serious though, right? At 35, you move differently. And I'm married, but outside, even when I look at my homies, just same age bracket as me, as my peer group as me, right? They was hot boys just like me. And now how they move is very different. And it's from the outside looking in, it's a respectable movement. I'm like, man, that's interesting that you wouldn't kill the prey that was laying on the floor half dead for you already. Because of the stuff that's attached to the prey that's laying half dead on the floor for you already. I don't want this on me, and it's not worth it. At 25, I'm killing that prey. At 35, I'm probably killing that prey. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But at 45, it's a difference, right? I'm
as
saying,
it should be.
I'm saying outside of me, right? But that's also about an understanding of my spiritual dominion. I've realized some shit about me. They realized some shit about them.
$2.
Oh, dog.
Sorry.
$2 in. Jesus Christ. This is going to be difficult.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough.
It's
cool.
the cup.
I'm $2 in.
I think I should just like put $100 in there.
No credit, my friend. No
Yeah,
credit.
well,
No
well.
And then just take back at the end of the month what I didn't use.
All right, but again, so now, and that's just, using the analogy of, me being 25, 35, 45,
$2
whatever.
for something.
There's some level of consciousness attached to my movement that I didn't necessarily have at 25. But even to the point of the shorties moving around with the pistols, right? As these behavior become more normalized, right? At 25, there's a normalization of how I move. You know what I mean? It's normalized by my peer group. It's normalized by media. It's normalized by the narrative of what a young 25-year-old man is supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Right? There's another version of what's happening at 45, or who you should be.
Yeah.
Right? But context is important. So now we put this shorty who's 10, and we put him in this hyper-capitalist market with these hyper extremes of lawlessness, right? He has access to Instagram because he's on his phone every day just like everybody else. He's seeing the Explore page like everybody else. He has access to YouTube. He has access to these behaviors that are essentially reaping benefits and rewards for these people. So his socialization is very different than my socialization because I didn't have that kind of access, right? So his socialization is different. So it's advanced in some ways and retarded in other ways.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but in that socialization of using what I got to get what I want, I can access a pistol. And this is what everybody in this social norm does. They use what they got, whatever it might be, right? Whether it be scamming, whether it be sex, whatever it is, whether it be dope, this is what everybody does. How do you fault him? I just don't understand how we fought him.
Yeah, I don't necessarily fault him for that. I don't necessarily fault him for that. I understand it. And like you said, this is what you see, right? This is what he sees on a regular basis from every aspect of our society. People using what they have to get what they want at the end of the day, right? And you know what he has in that moment is a pistol, and everybody responds. Everybody responds to that, and so I get that piece. All I'm saying is I don't see it as the same thing as two people consenting on a transaction. We're gonna take our first break. When we come back, we'll have more on this conversation, and we'll talk about we'll dig a little bit deeper into these carjackings and the energy around it. I'm getting really, really irritated about it.
Before we move to all the way through the carjacking conversation, I want to throw this video up about Republicans against Trump because it's interesting in the context of another conversation we had a couple weeks ago.
Cool. We'll do that on the other side of the break. Herman 2 till 6. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBPM. Welcome to Inhale, Exhale, you guys. We're your health home girls, Dr. Tanks Lee and Danny Time. We are being joined today by a guest, Samantha Allen, who's going to work with us today about attachment styles.
Preoccupied, anxious, that's more so a child that comes from a background where the parent or the caregiver was kind of all over the place. You didn't know what you were going to get, so you were clinging to them when you did have their attention, because sometimes I might have it, other times I might not. Because that it creates an anxiousness in the child, whereas when I get your attention, I want to hold on to it. I want to make sure, so I might cry when you leave, or I always want you around. I'm craving your attention. You know, mother-father relationship, the father passed away, now the mother is over busy, she's working all the time, she doesn't have as much attention as she once had for the children, so now this created an anxious attachment style. Those adults grow up more, considered more clingy in relationships, always wanting attention or feeling like I need to make sure we're okay, fear abandonment, fear that we might be breaking up or you might be leaving me alone, so I might check in with you more often, I might call you more. I just need to be assured that everything is okay with our relationship. That anxiousness part is the anxiety of the relationship, of always thinking something might be going wrong. If I called you, you don't answer. Are you upset with me? What did I do? Let's figure this out. Let's work this out. You're always kind of on edge about where your relationship will go.
You get a piece of paper, write down the event, the thought, emotion, and then logic. So in this case, say that your boyfriend didn't text you back. Okay, that's the event. What is your thought? Oh, well, he doesn't care. What's your emotion? I feel unworthy. What's the logic? Well, maybe he's asleep. So you gotta do that. That's addressing some of the symptoms. But overall, you want to engage self-love and self-discovery, right? And just kind of reprogramming your subconscious.
All right, well, Angela Oyafumike. As you know, this is I Do, I Did, I Don't on the What's in It for the Black People media. Start our way into this journey of divorce and healing.
So we came together under a survival mentality, not under a friendship of being in love. First being friends, and then being in love, or growing in love. We came together under, we're trying to survive, we're two kids trying to survive. Okay, we're going to survive together, because if you're handling this end of the survival and I'm handling this end,
years that you've accepted this is what it's been, and now you've made this decision, and he wasn't there. He wasn't even seeing that you were done.
Here's what it was. Just like I ignored on the front end that he didn't love me like that, He was so disconnected from me by the point when I decided to leave that he didn't see the writing on the wall.
Wow.
Just didn't see it. But he didn't know that woman because he never took the time to meet her.
Mm-hmm. And so you created your plan, and that's key, I think, in having a plan. If you are going to, whether you're deciding together that this isn't going to work any longer and we're splitting, and having a plan on how you're going to move forward is pretty key. You knew at this point I had to create your own plan, and you were moving forward with that. In my case, I didn't have a plan. Things happened pretty abruptly, and I was creating the plan on the fly along the way. I don't recommend that. You forgive yourself. You forgive you. Do the work of forgiving yourself that you may be able to actually forgive others.
Hey Chicago, you know we've all been impacted by COVID, especially in our communities. Help protect Chicago. We need everyone to stay safe and get the facts about the COVID-19 vaccine. Visit the What's in It for the Black People Media Facebook page and www.chicago.gov/COVIDVax for the facts.
WIFTVPN.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that. I know you just said that. That's what I just said. That's what I'm saying to you. Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you've ever said. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
What's happening, family? What's happening? We are back live from inside the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. Behind the glass in the production studio, the one and only Sonia Escobar. Esco, you all good in there? Mm-hmm. Appreciate y'all tuning in to this Monday edition of I Say What I Say. Hope y'all had a good weekend. Hope it was refreshing. Hope it was relaxing. Hope y'all got a chance to reset and that y'all are ready to attack this week and declare victory on whatever it is that you are dealing with in your life right now. You are strong, you are capable, you are certainly worthy of finding your peace and your happiness, and I hope that you are doing whatever is necessary for you to actually find that space. Again, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Shout out to everybody that's watching on Facebook. Shout out to everybody watching on YouTube. If you're checking the show out later on this evening, we appreciate you all for coming through as well. I got to say thanks, man, to everybody who ordered the who made a I Say What I Said purchase over the weekend or on Friday. Hoodies came out on Friday, and y'all went and got them, man. We appreciate y'all so very, very much. If you put your order in, they went out on Saturday. I got up early on Saturday. Once all the orders came through on Friday night, got up early, went to go get all of the orders out to people that they needed to be mailed to. And I even dropped some off to people that were around the Chicagoland area. So thank you to everybody who ordered hoodies, ordered mugs. We truly, truly appreciate y'all support, man. It is the love is felt. It is appreciated. It is valued. Boosie, you got yours today? That's good. What you say, Esco?
Where can I buy it at?
You can buy it from us, Esco. You need an extra small?
No discount for a friend?
You need an extra small? We get you an extra.
In men's size. Yeah.
We get you an extra small scope. Y'all got to see Sko. Sko is like 4'10", right?
I'm 5'1". Thank you
very much. You ain't 5'1", nothing. Maybe when you pick your hair up a little bit like that, you might be a little tall. But Sko is tiny, y'all. Anyway, we really do appreciate y'all rocking with him. Glad Boosie, you got yours today. I thought it might be coming tomorrow, so I'm glad it came a little earlier. Have not gotten yours yet, it is certainly on the way, but we appreciate y'all so very, very much. Even got some requests for people to order some in some different sizes and things like that, so we're going to put another order in. So if you want one, as I see T. Renee is saying right now, send me a message into my Facebook Messenger or on the IsWiz Pod page on Instagram, or send it to Two's page, and we will make sure that we either get you one of the few that are remaining, or we'll include yours in the next order that we are about to put in this afternoon. So appreciate y'all for rocking with us on that.
Real quick, I want to say something in regards to that. One, the website is having some malfunctionings.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know how to do e-commerce, and I'm trying to figure that out.
E-commerce.
As soon as I figure out how to attach some of this e-commerce stuff, Gene was like, put the link up. So the link is iswizpod.myshopify.com.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go there right now, it'll tell you like you need some kind of code to get in. But that's just on me. That's on me. So I got to figure that out.
Yeah.
I know we got some computer people in here too, like some real web designers and developers in here. So if you do know something about that, hit my inbox to help me figure this out, because I've been trying to deal with it for the last 24 hours. But I'm sure I'm gonna figure it out within the next 24 hours. So you can go to the site and order. And also, I just wanted to say this because there's a young woman in the comments saying justice for Xavier, and I just looked that up, and it seemed like to be an interesting story. So I wanted to say to LaToya Benton, man, hit my inbox and leave an email or a number, and we'll contact you, and maybe we'll have you on air with us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. I see. I don't know what the Justice for Xavier hashtag is about, but we certainly will find out and have that conversation. So that's dope that you extended the invitation to LaToya Benton. If she wants to be a part of the discussion, we can talk about that piece as well. But yeah, appreciate y'all for supporting, continuing to support the I Say What I Said movement and rocking with the church and all that. We will certainly get y'all stuff. Candace, you out here talking about something. I need to speak with management about my order. Don't start.
You speaking with management now.
Right. Don't start.
This is management.
Don't start, man.
I am Karen.
Come in my office.
English, press 1. Para español, prima dos.
Right. Hey, man, I'll be hating.
Un momento,
I'll be hating when I call the
tempo.
thing. It'd be like, press 1 for English. And press 1. Like, hello, Mr. Howard. Like, oh, my God. Spoon. It's not. But anyway, I digress, man. Just wanted to say thank y'all to y'all on that piece. We appreciate you. Spent the first hour or so kind of talking about the interesting dichotomy between the moral choices that are made and the moral choices that are accepted, widely accepted. So whether you're talking about it, whether you're talking about T.I. and Tiny and what they're dealing with, or you're talking about carjackings going on around the city, there is some disconnect between what is deemed to be acceptable in terms of morality and what is not acceptable. What are some of the inherent harm that is done? And then also, what is some of the residual harm? What's some of the residual harm that is done when you're talking about those types of things? So that was the conversation. We appreciate y'all on that piece. Tu and I weren't exactly aligned on that thing, but some good points were made as always, and y'all made some good points as well. Steve Jinks, man, you are an absolute fool. We're going to start putting you in there with Alvin and Cherie as the third clown of the Iswiz family, because that Mark said, man, I'll be putting my housekeeper through it. What'd he say? Physical labor at its finest. What's wrong with you, man? Jesus, that's hilarious.
You bougie Negroes that went from 75th Street to housekeepers. Boy, this is amazing.
Hey, baby.
That's amazing.
Hey.
Is that amazing, or is that how prevalent poverty is today?
What do you mean?
We think we're moving on up, but really the rest of the society is really just moving on down, right? So you're more willing to and apt to do those kind of things. I'll be a housekeeper. I'll sell some box. I'll be 10 and pull you about your car. That's the argument I'm making. That's the argument.
you are trying hard to connect this illegal thing to these legal things.
That is the argument I'm making.
This adorable.
Appreciate it. My daughter, man. Shout out to Bella Iman.
Indeed.
Because, I let her do this to me because I realize the society we about to inherit. And her skill set is not going to be box. She's going to have several skill sets. I refuse. So if you need me as a practice dummy to play on my head,
Almost made me spit my water out.
That's what we going to do.
Can you please cut it out?
That's what we going to do.
Can you please
around
cut it
here?
out?
If not nothing else, if there's one place black people will not spend their money with white people, is at the beauty salon. So if that's what it takes, you will learn a skill. It is just what we do at the Word House.
Bella is more pimp than box seller. Okay, she
Just saying.
You have one conversation
Either
with her,
way, she's
you
gonna
realize
have multiple
she gonna have
skills.
other people selling box. Like, what's wrong
My
with
daughter
you?
Bella
Uh-huh.
is selling bracelets right now.
Yeah.
Hey.
She came up with a business pitch and everything.
Oh, that's what's up. How old is she?
13.
Oh, yeah, that's what's up.
Hustle it up.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So we got Bella making bracelets,
that from her
Bella
daddy,
doing
though.
braids.
Business.
Think about that in context, too. I had this conversation with Eric the other day, right? My son. Bella is 11 years old, right? When that police lineup photo shoot came out, the oldest child in that lineup was 16 years old. They had marked out maybe 4 or 5 pictures because they can't show photos of anybody under 13. So that means that and they had the ages. So the youngest listed was 10, and it went to 13 of the pictures that they couldn't show. And in context, I was trying to make a point to my son. I said, imagine your sister Just her mentality, how she moves around our house, with the level of innocence that she moves with.
Yeah.
Imagine someone a year younger than her in the streets with a pistol with the audacity or the gumption to pull a grown person up out of their car.
Yeah.
What kind of life are they experiencing when you said, was they a victim? When you asked, was the sister victim who's selling box?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of life is that young man experiencing? Just from the standpoint of mentality, right? I look at my daughter. I look at Eric at 15 and say, you couldn't sell me on that. You could. He nervous around a girl. You understand what I'm saying? The kind of gumption you got to have to say at 10, get about this whip.
Right.
I'm G'ing this.
Right.
Your life has been very different.
Of course.
Right? I made this in context because we live in the highest percentile of where the carjackings are happening. These are not people that are foreign to you.
Right.
These are people that live 1-2 blocks away from you, but they live in different worlds than you. Think about that. 1 or 2 blocks away is a completely different planet.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Yeah. Which goes back to my point of, you're not really moving on up, people are moving on down, which goes back to the box, which goes back to the 10-year-olds, which goes back to my point being correct one more time. I'm just saying.
All of this to prove that I'm right.
That's it. That's it.
It's not even. It's not even a Tuesday.
It's not even a Tuesday. It's not even a Tuesday yet.
It's not even a Tuesday. Listen, if you want to play the video, you got to send your computer over here. I don't got it.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
That's good stuff, man. You know, I just feel like that if people are going to decide to be transactional in those ways, and it's not illegal, there's no inherent harm, so be it, right? Housekeepers are just like, you know, if you have the disposable income, use it on that. I'm not a big, like, I don't know. Whatever other people spend money on ain't really my thing, right? So you don't see me. You'll rarely see me with like jewelry. I like beads and stuff like that, but that ain't really my thing. Now, what else? You know what else is not my thing? Cutting the grass, shoveling, like cleaning up a whole house. Like, nah. So I'll throw money at that problem because I don't want to do it. I'll pay for the convenience of somebody else to come over here and do that because I don't want to do it. And it helps the economy, recirculating dollars in my community. Every time I have the guy from around the corner come cut the grass or shovel the snow or whatever, right? I had to fire the housekeeper I had, though. She used too many paper towels.
She didn't bring her own?
No. Like she's using
rags.
my paper towels.
You're supposed to use rags.
Yeah, she's using my paper towels and she's using a whole heap of them. I'm like, yo, what the heck? Like, no, this ain't gonna work out.
Hey, what's going on in my life where I don't got a housekeeper? This seems to be
children.
Normalized.
It's hard to find a good
children.
one.
What you mean a good one?
Children.
One you can trust. You're in your house. You give me the garage code.
I just think of housekeeper as being something of, you got to be kind of opulent to have a housekeeper.
It's just about having some disposable income. If some people spend money on, some people go to the club and pay $500 for a bottle of Goose. They cost $30.
How much does a housekeeper cost on average?
It depends.
Monthly.
I mean, I would do $80.
Oh, that's a pair of J's. I'm cool.
Every 2 weeks.
I don't have that kind of disposable income. I'm getting some
talking about baseboards,
we hit
behind the stove.
We hitting the whole thing.
It don't move me that much.
How much cleaning?
I'm cool.
We hit the whole thing and get it done. It'd be cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It works out.
Bless their heart. I'm going straight to the Nike website.
You know, I'll be having like functions or whatever in the basement. I'm not finna. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have several times, but if I can, if in that given month I can throw some money at the problem, then let's just do that because I don't want to do it.
It's time. How valuable is your time?
Yeah, like
I don't want to clean for 5 hours. I'd rather just pay him.
Yeah,
I'm not cleaning for 5 hours. That's not happening.
Yeah, but she gonna come over and clean for 5 hours.
Yeah, bless her heart.
Yeah, exactly. Bless her heart. I'm cool with it. It worked out well. I've never felt like it wasn't money well spent. It was like, yeah, that works out for me. Come see you in 2 weeks.
No, that's salute. I just live in that world.
I don't have children, bro. I got like
my children don't clean.
No. I'm saying you take care of them.
Oh,
They're expensive, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
If
I make them clean though.
If I had children, I probably would have never had a cleaning lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
when you really need them.
Right, when you really need them, you can't afford them.
Right, can't afford them.
Right, when it's just
in that vein. Right, in
it's
that
just
vein.
two adults who should be able to clean up a house.
This is just a funny story, but it irritated me to no end.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a continuous argument with my daughter and bringing food to her room.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Didn't you say you like found plates in her drawer one day?
It's so ridiculous. She's so disrespectful. She's so disrespectful.
It's her safe zone.
She's disrespectful.
They gonna be safe when it's
right.
And
it's my daughter, so I don't lay. It's hard for me to
Stuart
get mad
Little
at my daughter, but my wife
the
though,
same way.
she'll go to war with her. Right. So I'm just trying to save you from your mama. It ain't me that you got to worry about. But if your mama find this, you gonna have a whole problem.
Right.
Right. But my problem is, I was like, baby. So during Corona, like Herbert noticed, like after Corona, there's like a strip mall across the street from the crib, right? When Corona happened and they shut down all the little food joints over there was a wave of rats that circumvented through the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like my neighborhood specifically is like the Bronx at midnight with no streetlights. It's rats everywhere. Like I got to look out my front window before I open my front door because I'm afraid. Like
Gotta run in the crib.
I don't want you to run up in the crib. Like it's ridiculous. Y'all done called the city 8 billion times. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But I'm in fear of, as this weather changes, I don't want none of this in my house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They get cold, they coming in.
I'm trying to keep this out my house at every measure.
Meanwhile, Bella got a plate of dried up ketchup under the bed.
Old spaghetti in the drawer. You know what I'm saying? Just regular stuff, right? So I'm steady having this argument back and forth.
That's so good.
That's going to be your point.
That's good.
So I'm steady having this argument with her. So I'm laying in the bed the other day, and she runs upstairs like, Daddy, 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 come here. And then Nick is yelling from downstairs like, oh, God, too, come here. And it was like, it's something by the garbage. It's something by the garbage. Now,
God, no, this is my worst nightmare, dude.
They standing all on the table, right? They standing all on the table.
I will throw up and cry at the same time.
It's something by the garbage. And I'm saying to myself, it's you little dirty dudes that don't clean up. But then you call me to come kill whatever they ran up in the crib, right? So I go over by the garbage, and I'm being hesitant because I don't know it's there either, right? It's wartime now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got a broom.
What a man, okay.
So I'm looking, and I move. There's like a Mariano's, you know, they give you the brown paper bags for your groceries.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a brown paper bag by the garbage because my son ain't took the garbage out. So there's an extra brown paper bag garbage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I moved the garbage bag, and they was like, "Did you hear it? Did you hear it?" You know what it was, G?
No.
We had made some rice earlier, and it was rice.
This
eating
mouse
up against
sound.
the brown paper bag.
These
fools, I thought it was a snake.
Ooh,
a snake.
I said, "This is Chicago, you
A
dummy."
snake.
You big dummy.
Not a mouse.
Gee, I felt like Fred G. Sanford.
A snake.
You big dummy. I can't stand y'all. Y'all done woke me up out of my sleep for this garbage.
Yeah.
Clean up.
Hey, I'm scared of stuff too, though. So like rodents or like squirrels, possum, raccoons. I don't take the trash out at night. Like I'm like it's if the trash ain't gone out before the sun goes down, it'll go out tomorrow, fam. I'm not going out there. Nah, it's possum and raccoon back there. I'm straight. I'd rather walk down a dark alley with 100 grown men I've never seen before, right, than to walk past like 3 possum. I'm good. I'm straight on that. I'm a city boy for real, and I don't deal with that kind of stuff. It's not my thing. I remember when I got down to Carpenter, they don't bother you? Scared the heck out of me, man. When I got down to Carbondale, I was like walking like through campus, and you got the dorms over here. You got this long bridge you got to walk across to get to like where the lecture halls and stuff like that are. But in between, it's just like wooded areas and all that. Man, deer over there, like it's just chill, like it's just regular stuff. I'm terrified. You hear me? Like, man, I'm not walking past all them deer. Are you out of your mind, sir? Like, no, not for that.
Yeah, man, I lived in Iowa for a little while. So
they got orange squirrels too down there.
It's normalized.
Oh my God.
Like big orange squirrels. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, it's light. That's light.
It's not light. No, I'm good. I'm good for real.
It is what it is. I was just more
a
upset.
squirrel kept getting in my basement and my grandpa shot it. Good for grandpa.
You gotta
Good
do what you gotta
job.
do.
Good for grandpa, Dr. Tanksley.
Yeah, see. Grandpa got a gun. That's how them 10-year-olds get them guns.
Possums are mean. You know what? Possums are pretty soft, man. They pretty kind of like docile. They ugly. They're intimidating because they look like that, and they got them eyes, and they look real intimidating. But ultimately, they're really, really scary, and that's where the term playing possum comes from. possums just sit there and act like they dead. You know what I'm saying? So you leave them alone. And so, you know, when they hear, oh, he's just playing possum, that's where that comes from. Because they're not really aggressive unless you, like, super corner them and then they feel like they don't have no choice. But other than that, they pretty much scared of me, but not as scared of me as I am of them. Okay? So I just leave them alone. Like, yeah, it's y'all world out here, fam. For real.
Yeah, I could care less, really. Now, the rats, though, I'm not with the rats. Right? I don't know. It's something about rats. So I kind of appreciate the raccoons and the possums and other stuff because it controls the ecosystem.
Yeah, I can appreciate everything that's a part of the system, but I don't gotta like it.
No, but it controls it. So what I'm saying is, even with the COVID, like, this is a new thing, right? When those restaurants and all that stuff closed down, it was creating all that trash where they could really have their own ecosystem and live there. And when they closed down and they moved to the neighborhood, it's a very different experience. Like, legitimately, I'm standing on my porch and they, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, this is OC. Like, they're not even afraid of people. You know what I mean? It's like, this is our shit. What you gonna do? Another curse. Jesus Christ.
It's that sugar honey iced tea for you, man.
It's that sugar honey iced tea.
You
It's
can't
killing
get that
me,
one.
dude.
You can't get that one.
It's killing me. Jesus, we finna be dead broke over here.
We gotta pick a charity, man. You know, maybe we can rock with I don't know. We'll pick one, but I know that Emerald Green got the sandwich ministry over there at the Woodline. Shout out to Donnell from the Woodline. I saw him in here earlier. I don't know if he still is, but you know, they do that sandwich ministry stuff out there. So maybe we can, you know, by the end of the month, we might be able to sponsor a couple days of that.
Maybe we'll do it, split it between Emerald and Black Culture Week or something like that.
Oh yeah, Black Culture Week is coming up too, for sure. Hey man, I'm charged up about it this year. You know, last year I wasn't really able to be active. Was it last year? With the huge caravan all through the city. That was just last year, right? That wasn't 19, right? That was 20, right?
COVID wasn't happening, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was last year.
It had to be 19 instead of 20. COVID was not a real thing.
Yeah, but COVID wasn't a thing in February. COVID, like, it became a big thing like March.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
So I don't know. But either way, that thing was absolutely amazing. So if there's something like that happening again, I definitely want to be out for it because I wasn't able to be out for it this time. But anyway, that just is what it is. So yeah, that'd be a good thing to give too. So we can split it up like that and do it something like that.
Hey, let's run this video real quick. I just want to run this because it brings context to the conversation I was having about creating a marketing campaign around the first 100 days of Joe Biden's administration in his term.
First of all, why do my mans look like this, though? Why my mans, this is J.C. Penney top of the line, buddy.
He's going to go away, though. I think there's a different guy that's going to pop up when the tape actually plays.
All right, you good? Yeah, I got it up already. I'm trying to roast dude with his box face.
To stop their own from spreading dangerous lies. So on Thursday, the anti-Trump group, the Republican Accountability Project, kicked off a $1 million billboard campaign targeting a dozen congressional Republicans who spread lies about the 2020 election. Joining me now, Bill Kristol, director of the group behind the billboards. Bill is also founding director of Defending Democracy Together. Bill, talk to me about these billboards. What's the purpose? What do you think you can accomplish with them?
Alicia, it's very relevant to the conversation, the very interesting conversation you just had with Zola. You need to denounce the extremists from your own party, from your own side. It's more effective, I think, honestly, if people who are Republicans and have been Republicans say this is not acceptable. So we're saying this in about a dozen congressional districts, including Marjorie Taylor Greene's. You know, in the Homeland Security Department, Elizabeth Newman, who's one of the co-directors of this project, she was an political appointee, not career, in that department. She had joined the Trump administration. She didn't like Trump much, but she thought she could do some good. She did some good, I think, over her 2 or 3 years there. She quit. She couldn't take it anymore in the summer of 2020, partly because of exactly what Zolan was describing. Trump would not accept the recommendations from the Homeland Security Department of the dangers to make public and to marshal resources against the dangers of white supremacist terrorism, of this kind of extremism. And so she quit, and she worked with us at Republican Voters Against Trump to make the case that Republicans should desert Trump. She's now a co-director of the Republican Accountability Project, which has these billboards and TV ads up. And we're trying to tell Republicans, conservatives, you've got to draw this line.
Yeah, very interesting. And I want to play one of those ads for everyone, this from the Republican Accountability Project.
There
There was fraud.
Rampant fraud.
Fraud. Dominion machines that were problematic.
I blame it all on Dominion.
The election was stolen.
Our election stolen from us.
Stolen.
President Trump won this election.
More bad behavior is what we need. Call your congressman. You can lightly threaten them. You got to go to the
You can lightly threaten them.
Let's have trial by combat. Today, American patriots start kicking ass.
America.
Throughout the ads, you talk about you, but you're not really directing these at these members of Congress themselves. You're directing these at their constituents. Do you think you can get through to them? I think that's one of the lingering questions that people have as they watch this all unfold.
Somewhere, and maybe the craziness gets so obvious, and it's damaging effects so obvious that people do pull back and say, well, I thought this was kind of just a little weird, but not really worth condemning, and I kind of like these people for other reasons, and then they finally see, no, we have to condemn it. I've seen this ad 20 times, I suppose. I was involved in when we developed it, and I'm still shocked when I see it. And one of the things that shocks me, and think about this, just as a human being, really, I mean, let's say you said these things in good faith. I don't think they really were in good faith, but let's say these congressmen believed some of this stuff. Then there's January 6th. If you're a decent human being, don't you say, you know what? I really want to apologize to the degree that I inadvertently led people to behave in this horrible, damaging, murderous way. I didn't mean it I didn't mean it for it to be taken that way. But please, I apologize, and I'll try to be more careful in the future. That would be the minimum thing a responsible politician, and I would say, frankly, a decent person would say. And none of them. Has a single one even expressed that kind of level of apology, let alone being willing to repudiate Marjorie Taylor Greene or people who are proudly championing everything they've said?
Bill, do you think it's GOP lawmakers themselves who ultimately lead the party out of the wilderness, or do you think that it has to be voters who say, enough, we will not stand for this?
I mean, some of both, and I'm sort of pessimistic for now just because the numbers aren't good. But again, I do think you do need leadership. Voters are, they're not paying hugely close attention sometimes. They're in their media bubbles, unfortunately, social media bubbles. If leaders, of senators and congressmen they have voted for, whom they've heard of, get together and say, look, we understand why people might have fallen for this, but it's unacceptable. It's wrong. It's not true. And it comes back, and you mentioned this earlier too, it comes back to the big lie. If you can't confront the big lie of election fraud, which did so much damage, then what are you going to confront? And that they're still unwilling to flat out say was a lie. And to the degree they participated in spreading it, they should say they regret it.
So we could cut it. We could cut it here, right? Mm-hmm. And the only reason I played that, it was less about the what and more about the how, right? There was a conversation we had the other day about a couple weeks ago about the first 100 days,
right?
Where we know that the first 100 days was specifically kind of dedicated to the LGBT community and the Hispanic community, and when you start looking who elected this administration, it was us, right? So we're kind of being forfeited for who they want to become part of the party, right? Now, we can sit back on our laurels and say, this is what it is, or I suggested here's another way for us to look at it, right? And one of the things I said is we could do a marketing campaign that creates a level of messaging that kind of informs the average voter. This is exactly what they did. Right?
Took $1 million.
The difference between them and us is they had $1 million. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they had $1 million at their disposal, but they're leveraging the idea that we talked about right here 3 weeks before this became a real thing. You know what I mean? But I think that politics is shifting in front of our faces, right? And I think that we're going to be, it's kind of like the stuff that happened with the stock market the other day, right? The people got a hold of a loophole, and they can leverage social media to do what everybody else has been doing on Wall Street for the duration of Wall Street, right? Here's some insider trading with people with no money, right? So the billionaire hedge funds have been doing insider trading since forever. But just like they had $1 million, the billionaire hedge funds have $1 billion, right? But when you have social media, you might not have $1 billion, but you can reach 1 billion people who got $2.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we can make a move, right? Same thing here in regards to like pushing the conversation, for whether it be for reparations, whether it be for Black Power politics. We got to rethink about how we move. It's not about our electorate so much as about who's electing the electorate, right? And if we can reach the voter in a better way than the actual politician, then the politician becomes powerless.
Right.
He has to be leveraged by us, right? But in order for us to do that, we got to have an informed electorate. Now, here's the thing. Informed could go any way because in the moralist society, whoever the messenger is.
Informed about what? What information are you
creates
receiving?
The message.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Whoever the messenger is creates the message.
Right.
Right? So Kamala Harris being black is good enough.
Right.
Her being, we about to talk about
Black.
carjacking. Right? They're about to introduce a new crime bill. They're prepping us for another run of locking black youth up.
Yeah, man. And people are eating this thing up. Eating this thing up.
But they're the messengers. And there's nothing combating their message.
Yeah. I told my mom, I said, start watching the news, man.
It's real.
She said, if you when you go out in your car, take one of them old phones with you. So that if you
take your phone, you still got it in your sock.
So if you get carjacked, you get them this one, and you can keep your old phone. And so you call the police.
So this is one thing right now.
I
wait, before you say anything else, I got to stop you.
Uh-huh.
Right? Mama Howard reached out to me directly and said, hey, get a hold of your boy, and let's not have him communicating about me on air. And I said, Mama Howard, I got you. So what we're going to do right now is what we're going to do right now is move forward.
Oh, okay.
Wait, do you know what she said on Friday though? She cut my mic for real.
Cut his mic. I know. She called me. And we're gonna leave it there.
Do you know what she said on Friday?
She called me, yes.
Okay. You
keep it going.
You
cut her mic.
You excusing that behavior?
Yes, cut it. Yes.
She said so she like
cut it.
I said, lady, stop watching the news, man. I said I've and nothing's gonna happen to me. Okay? I've been safe in this city for 35 years. Nothing is gonna happen to me.
Because you are covered by the blood of Jesus.
Big facts.
The morality of Jesus is disappearing at a fast rate.
That and a unique skill set I gained growing up on the east side of Chicago.
Hey, you better trust in that before you trust in Jesus.
I trust both, man. Because I didn't.
I got married in the church because of Jesus.
You get on my nerve. I didn't walk away from some things I shouldn't have walked away from, but for God being like, man, listen, I'm so tired of you doing dumb stuff. But I still got
Sugar, honey, iced tea.
I still got some things I need you to do, so I'm gonna keep your stupid ass around a little bit longer. But
that's a cuss. Put your money up there.
That's in the Bible too.
In the Bible, that's a cuss. Put your money up.
It's a naughty word.
It's a donkey's butt.
Hey, it's a cuss.
So we can't. What about?
If you say it, put your money up.
What about DAMN?
It's a cuss, man. Whatever. If my kids can't say it, I can't say it.
HE double hockey sticks.
That's not the same.
Anyway, so I'm like, listen, nothing gonna happen to me. Number one, but two, stop watching the news because they're pushing that narrative for a reason. As soon as you start talking about defunding the police, what do they got to do to combat that? They got to make you feel like you need the police.
Yeah, they got to create a level.
No, y'all talking about defund the police? We don't need the police. Yes, y'all do. They gonna steal your car if the police ain't here. Man, cut it out. Ain't no more cars being stolen in 2020, 2021 than it was in 95.
But see,
miss me with that.
What becomes interesting to me about this,
and I'm not saying ignore the problem. Obviously, we've been trying to be a part of the solution and all that too. And we're gonna talk about that in the 5 o'clock hour. We're gonna be joined by Sister Africa and Q as well. Talk about the initiative they've been putting together. So you could try to be a part of the solution while also not being so beholden to it. Because I'm
and
part of me is still like,
And the Q and Africa conversation is also about narratives and how narratives are created. Right. And again, this is about a narrative, right? So there's this new heightened fear around carjacking, just like there's a heightened fear around crack cocaine, right? And that heightened fear around crack cocaine led the Black Caucus to be one of the champions of the crime bill. You know what I mean? So now you got Mama Howard doing her thing.
See, the problem.
Stop talking. Stop. No, we're gonna stay focused. We're gonna stay focused. Stay here. Stay in the room. Stay in the room.
Problem is,
nam yum yo yo kekio, nam yum yo yo kekio, nam yum yo yo kekio.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything else that you understand, I drop to think, everything else that you understand, that you do understand, will confuse you.
That's the real Neely Fuller. Shout out to Esco, man. We never run Little Ron back.
Never wanted them in the first place. Hey, TT.
Hey, TT. But no, that's real, though. But look, back to the point I'm making, right? Mm-hmm. So the Black Caucus got behind the original crime bill because, hey, crack cocaine is the worst thing in the world. And they willingly sent our uncles, fathers, brothers, peers to the penitentiary for eons, for years. You know what I mean? And now we even though there's a lot of hype around violence in Chicago, if you do the math, if you do the data, you'll recognize that the crime and the mystique or the media hype around it doesn't work in concert. It's not the same. Crime has been slowly going down since forever, right? But now there's this heightened exposure to this new form of criminal, this new super predator, this 10-year-old who picture leaked from the police department, but it was scratched out. Right? None of that happens by happenstance. Right?
Agreed.
So they're preparing us for this new kind of idea. Right? I just talked about the stock conversation the other day where, the people found a way to beat the masses. Right? The world is shifting and they're trying to obtain and gain control again. And what happens is, again, who's the messenger? And we fall into the same level of prey. So now we're out championing these same ideas that just a generation ago got every one of us in the situations we in. Because your fathers, your uncles.
We don't learn, though, bro.
Because we aren't the ones creating the narratives and because we don't study.
Yeah, but we don't create them, but we soak them up.
Well,
we take them hook, line, and sinker, and we be gone with it. So just like we talk about, when you talk about Joe Biden and you talk about being against the 94 crime bill, you get all these people who was like, well, black people was championing that bill. They absolutely were. And you're going to have a lot of black people championing this anti-car theft bill that's finna hit legislation too.
But Esco just played Neely Fuller, right? Until you fully understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything you think you understand will only confuse you, right? The narrative is being shaped by media. We don't dominate, control, or own media. Even when you see black faces on TV, they are spewing a narrative that was created by someone else. They just a black face. They just blackface, right? It's still someone else's
They
narrative.
work for a white company.
There's
at the
a
end of the day.
reason why, and this is no knock to Lil Durk or any of those other little young rappers, but there's a reason why that music permeates the airwaves on WGCI, and let's say Kendrick Lamar doesn't, even though Kendrick Lamar sells more records. He sells more units. He books more crowds. He's a bigger money maker for that industry. Yeah. But there's a reason why
It's a bigger play at hand.
It's a bigger play at hand. I need control of the masses.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the messaging that we're hearing is essentially becoming the parents, specifically in our community, when we are not anchored into an identity.
Real spill.
Right? So when you start thinking about black culture, since I've been a child, our culture was uniquely attached to a music genre. Right? You go back another genre, another generation, their culture was uniquely attached to a music genre. So we create new cultures because we are not anchored into any true identity, right? And because we're not anchored into any true identity, TV is creating our values. It's creating our identity. And I'm not just saying TV, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Facebook, those media outlets are now creating our identities. Still driving me back to the point of the 10-year-old with the gun. And in essence, to T.I., it's the same conversation, right? These people become the dictators of what you deem as valuable. And we fall in line, right? So I got my pearls and my chucks on becomes a theme rather than the policy that she created.
Doesn't matter.
Or whether how she governed in any position that she was in.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Now it's about what the narrative says it should be about. She's black. She's an AKA. And she's really not none of them things. You see they can create people.
Do you think this comes from a sense of hopelessness where we really don't feel like there's a real possibility of us getting to anything of more value than symbols? And so it's like, well, if this is all we can get, then let me grab the symbols, right? And so if all we can get is a black face in office, then let's just roll with the black face. And if it don't really mean nothing for us in terms of tangible outcomes or benefits, then so be it. At least we got the symbolism, because that's all we can get anyway. And I think that for some reason we we like it. Like we just like it. And so it's the Tims, the Chucks, the Pearls, it doesn't mean anything, but we love it so much. And I wonder if that is just because we don't think that we can get to anything else, and so we're just happy with the symbolism.
I'm with it. I agree with you, right? I do think it's from a sense of hopelessness. Right, but that hopelessness is uniquely attached to capitalism because the only value asset is capital, right? And one of the things that we've been locked out of, which is why we are a caste system, is capital, right? So our value isn't intrinsic. It's not based in love. It's not based in relating. It's not based in our humanity. It's based in our ability to assimilate into American culture by any means necessary. So I need a Gucci belt to feel like I'm somebody. I need air bubbles in my shoes to feel like I'm somebody. I need a Bentley to feel like I'm valuable, right? It's just what it is. For the women, I'm going to inflate my already big booty to make it a bigger booty to feel like I'm valuable.
Yeah.
Right? Because this is what the social norm says is the value asset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is hopelessness. But it's hopelessness based on a flawed origin anyway.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They coming from a flawed place to begin with. But I'm saying when are we gonna get tired of just the symbolism and we went from Bill Clinton was the first black president. You know what I mean? Just stupid stuff because he smoked weed and played a saxophone and got some fellatio in the Oval. Cut the crap. Be for real. But we into it so much that they don't have to give us nothing else. They don't have to give us nothing else. What is going on? Hey, Ma, cool out, man.
But in that vein, though, that marketing campaign that they just leveraged is a way to push past them people.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is use white people how they use us.
Mm-hmm.
Use the same strategies, right? We could talk about white supremacy all we want and how it's affected us. It affects us the way it affects us because we're at the bottom of it. But looking from a more umbrella kind of view from the top down, it's a genius idea.
Mm-hmm.
It
makes perfect sense.
It's a brilliant concept. So all I'm saying is, let's take their strategies and leverage them against our own people the same way. Mm-hmm. Right now, they had the $1 million at their disposal. We don't have $1 million at our disposal. So we got to find more creative ways to do it. We might not be able to do TV ads, but we can do bus shelters. Right? We can do banners. We can do billboards. That's not all that expensive. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think we create the level of messaging that we want to leverage, right? Yeah. Here's what your senator does. Here's what your congressman. Here's what your mayor. Here's what your alderman owes you. And just make it, and the way marketing is leveraged in America is a war of attrition. They just keep throwing it at you, mm-hmm. right? And the through line that they throw at us most times is that white life is more value and this isn't for you. So we don't engage in what's not for us. Mm-hmm. We don't pay attention, right? But then you do the data. You say 98% of black people who have employment are employed at government jobs. How government ain't for you, fool? Mm. Government is all you got. Mm. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But we've been, again, how the messaging works, how the narratives get shaped. Mm-hmm. We've been so fooled. How many times have you heard a black person say, man, I ain't with all that government. I ain't with all these politicians. Mm-hmm. Bruh, without government, you would be a slave. Mm-hmm. Still today. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying they're not taking advantage of you. Mm-hmm. But without government, if only 2% of us work in the private sector, what do you think happens? Our entire community falls down without government because 98% of us are employed via government. Mm-hmm. How you going to open your mouth to say I could care less about government? You a fool.
Yeah, it's not understanding the whole thing in totality. It's just not understanding it in totality. And it's not understanding, how we're represented in that space, but it's also not understanding what we should be getting back from that particular system. And that's apparent because when we don't get it, it doesn't upset us at all. And I said all the time, any other aspect of our society where you do not get what you expected to get based off the investment that you put in, you are going to throw a fit. It's not okay for you to give a restaurant your money and they give you something other than what you order. You're going to spaz. But with politics, we let it ride all the time. We invest our vote, we invest our time, we invest our support, our money. They don't give us what we wanted, and we like, oh, maybe next time. Maybe next time. You know what I'm saying? And it's when is enough?
So Devin says they say gangsters make good politicians. I agree.
Gangsters got
problem is they fooled you to think that gangsters is a negative thing.
Yeah, and until they do gangster stuff.
No. And I want us to remove the word gangster, right? I'm writing an article for this magazine right now. The very definition of gangster is really synonymous with what it means to be a man. Mm. Be a man, fam. Mm. We've given credit to gangsters because we don't walk in our true polarity as men. If we walked in our true polarity as men, couldn't be no gangsters.
But what do we respect about gangsters the most?
Audacity.
That's it. I'm not beholden to your rules, fam. I do what I want.
similar to what I define as
I'm
a
gonna
man.
take care of me and mine by any means necessary. I'm gonna get to it. I don't have to do it in your constructs. I don't subscribe to your rules
I'm
and your
about to
laws.
cuss, and I'm not paying for this cuss. This is part of the show. Right? Can you whoop my ass, though?
Can you whip my ass? Though is a real thing.
Period. And I'm not paying for that cuss because that's part of the narrative of I said what I said.
Yeah,
That's still in respect to the elders.
You got a design. You got a can you whip my ass though design?
Yes, I do.
Okay, cool. Maybe that'll be like the third or fourth rollout of
We're gonna roll it out. You know, we had to ease the people into that one because it's abrasive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's all good. I dig it.
But I'm with being abrasive, and that's what I mean. Like even to the point of the brother that I did the interview with on Salim's show, I can't think of his name right now, Brother Land.
Yeah.
I heard Brother Land speaking on another show, and I took offense to one of the things he said, and it was like, how do we keep the shorties from reenacting these behaviors over and over and over again? He said, man, it really ain't no answer until we let some of the gangsters out there could deal with them who they can identify with. And I said to myself, man, it don't need to be gangsters. It just need to be men.
That's it.
But we've been so conditioned that we don't really fully grasp what it means to be a man because we've never been able to fully walk in that polarity. Right? You can say all you want to say about Donald Trump, but he ran that office like a man. Right. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Period.
And I dare you to stop me,
Period.
Which was so dangerous to the rest of this country because everybody else is under the manipulation of the lie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, got to work together, got to coexist, got to go along to get along, got to make sure everything is got to make sure one hand's watching the other. Donald Trump like, man, one hand don't even have to know what the other was doing as far as I'm concerned.
I don't care nothing about your hands.
Okay?
These my hands.
These the only hands that matter, fam.
You want these hands?
All right. I got my hand on the button.
I got my hand
where your
on
hand
the
at?
button, G. Power concedes nothing without demand.
Uh-huh.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been in this place of subservitude for so long that we don't really fully embrace what it means to be man. When the police get behind us, you tense up.
Every rep.
Right? You got to decide, like Malcolm says, man, until you fully figure out what you're gonna die for, your life really has no intrinsic value.
Yeah.
And it's real, and it sounds, mythological and this is the standard,
It's
bro.
real. If you
And
ain't
it's
found
been
nothing
the
worth dying
standard
for,
since-
you ain't fit to live. Like,
it's been the
what we
standard
doing?
since the beginning of time.
What we doing? Like,
Right? It just is what it is. A lion weighs X amount of thousands of pounds.
mm-hmm.
There's no way that a man should be dominating the lion on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
But man has decided, I'm going to dominate you.
Yeah, I'm smarter than you, fam.
And now lions are in the zoo and men come see them.
Yeah.
Period. Be a man, fam.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, that's ultimately what it boils down to. But it's I'm smarter than you, and so because our brains work better than lions, then we make weapons to kill them. Ain't like we can run up on them and smack them.
So, but Alvin says there are manly characteristics versus gangster characteristics, right? And I'm gonna go back to, I'm sorry, this name is escaping me as I'm trying to think about it.
Like when you talk about Frank Lucas, just in the movie American Gangster, right? Now, your personal feelings about Frank Lucas aside and snitching on everybody and all that, but the movie, right? Is he being a gangster or is he just being a man? Right? Because the gumption that he had, the audacity that he had to go around the mob, number one, was like unheard of. It was unheard. There's a structured way of doing things here. You get your little black self in line here, right? You'll take what we give you, you sell it, you get us our percentage, yada, yada, yada. He said, nah, that don't work for me. I'm going to go around all that. I'm going to be the man. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that's kind of how he moved. We talked about the scene last week. We talked about the scene where he, shot Idris Elba in broad daylight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do what I want, fam. I do what I want. He blew up that dirty cop, the dirty detective. He blew his car. He had that cold, that Shelby Mustang. He blew it up. Then he told him, "Oh, would you rather your house blows up next time?"
I just don't, to that point of it being characteristics of a gangster and characteristics of a man. I also think that's about confusion of the narrative, right? So there's a dress code for criminals. Mm-hmm. There's a dress code for gangsters as well. Mm-hmm. But if you have any real engagement with that world, mm-hmm. that dress code usually doesn't align with the most gangster of the gangsters, right? So are they really gangsters, right? And I think that's the question. It's all about the narrative being manipulated. You know what I mean? Some of the biggest gangsters. Daly was a gangster.
Super thug.
1 and 2.
Super thug.
He was a gangster.
They ran this city for 50 years.
But the original Daly ain't even like no large step from being a gangster to a politician. He came up with the Irish mob.
Thugs.
He was a gangster.
In every sense of the word.
You know what I mean? This is what it's going to be, right? But when he was, even the story of the Teamsters and
that's
and the
how they
unions,
got it all.
That's how they became who they
They
became.
were street gangs that leveraged their ability to threaten you, harm you, physically destroy your
Period.
business to get what we want.
Period.
That's it.
Right? Either you going to fear me or
Get down
I'ma
or lay
fear you.
down.
Get down or lay down.
Cut me in or cut it out, fam.
It's the last Fargo season, right? Where the dude tells Chris Rock, I could do all of this. I could do all this, and then I could put on a shooting tie, and the rest of the society is going to accept me, and I can still do that same behavior. They'll never accept you.
You black, fam. You can't do that.
It's also because going back to the concept of you can't be a man until you master your society, master the society that you've inherited, and what we've inherited is some subservience, and we've allowed it to be our own narrative. We've allowed ourselves to fall into the concept that this is what it is. So we don't aspire for ownership. We aspire to jobs. You know, you grow up, your parents say, grow up and get a good job. That becomes, and I know I'm painting with a very broad brush, but that's the consistent narrative in our communities. It's not grow up and own this, grow up and create this. It's not grow up and be in control.
No.
It's to grow up and become more subservient. At the core of manhood, how can you be a man when someone's feeding you to feed your family?
Yeah.
He's the man of your household. Whoever's feeding you.
Yeah. Like Chance got a line on one of his songs. He said, "How could you call yourself bosses when you got so many bosses?" You know what I'm saying? You got to see what your boss say. I get it straight out the faucet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just too much, man. We talked to we didn't talk to Neil talked to Swain from Kimbark Barbershop, and he was just talking about he was like, man, my daddy was an entrepreneur. I never saw my daddy work a traditional job for somebody else. He was always working for himself. And so it was embedded in me early that I was going to get to it on my own. I wasn't going to go work for somebody else. And I think that like those things are kind of put in you at those early ages. But how much representation do we have of that in our communities? You know what I mean? And so you can't be what you haven't seen. Like, and we don't see a lot of that, you know, type of thing in our community. So how can we expect our young people to kind of get to that space?
It depends on how you look at it, though, because we've had that representation in our community
in the
before.
streets,
in a plethora of ways.
Okay, cool.
Right. So either we're gonna acknowledge that we're moving backwards. We got to either acknowledge that we're moving backwards, or we got to say we've bought into a different kind of narrative. Right.
Both.
The policy kings was from our community. Right. Those people were gaining wealth off policy. Right. The government comes in, takes the policy, and it becomes a lottery. And we go play lottery, right? Our communities legitimately was our communities at one point in time, right? Regardless of why, right? Even if it was based on they had to make laws for white people to start accepting your money. There was a point when our communities was ours because we wasn't allowed nowhere else per se, right? But the minute those veils are lifted, so does the narrative change. So does the narrative change. Today's Black History Month. We could talk about Robert Abbott and the Defender. Robert Abbott was a multimillionaire at a time where that just didn't happen. The black population of Chicago owes Robert Abbott. They owe that man because it wouldn't be here without him.
It's real spill.
You understand what I'm saying? Where's black media today? This dude was on 47th Street. Yeah. Where's that at today?
Yeah.
Right? So either we're moving away from a concept of masculinity in totality, which Salim says we're moving into this kind of feminine space, and we can acknowledge that for what it is and accept it, or we got to fight back. And what's fight back look like? So to the same point of Robert Abbott, right? It was illegal for them papers to pass across the Mississippi, right? But those Pullman porters had gumption.
Yeah.
Because they legitimately, by sneaking papers into town, they was risking their life.
Oh, for sure.
Right? What will you risk your life for today?
Nothing, bro.
Right? And they risk their life to build community.
Right.
Pass out information.
Right. But we are so caught up in trying to get to whatever the other side is. We trying to assimilate so closely to whiteness that this idea of doing stuff for the Black liberation movement, that ain't really our focus on that, right? And so, yeah, we're moving backwards, but we're moving backwards because we are trying to ascend into this space where we aren't welcome, we haven't been welcome, and won't be welcome. But we are so caught up into it that we keep trying to get to that space. And so, whereas Before, you had people that was doing their own thing because they weren't really trying to get to that. They were trying to focus on building strong households, strong communities. Now they're in a space where it's like, nah, everybody's just trying to climb this corporate ladder and do this thing. And so, yeah, we're getting further and further away from our roots, from our, what we should be grounded in, because we're trying to do something else. It's like, nah, let that thing go. But again, that's what they knew. That's what they knew, back then in those days. You talk about 50s and 60s, black people understood that, right? Coming out of that, this illusion of inclusion had us believing that we were going to be accepted into a space where we never were going to be accepted at. And so we stopped doing the things that we needed to do to build up our own. And now you see, damn, how do we move backwards? Because we was trying to do something else. That's why. Stop trying to do something else.
Yeah, but again, like context, right? King said the three major pillars of America was militarism, racism, and capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I would add to that media. You know what I mean? Militarism, racism, capitalism. These are the through lines. This is what keeps this machine working.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, if we go back to the Amos Wilson concept of manhood being only realized as if you master the society you inherit.
Sure.
We've not mastered capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
We've not conquered racism.
Mm-hmm.
We've not mastered militarism. We don't own no media. We ain't no men.
Good point, man. We're going to pause it right there. When we come back, we are going to be joined live by Sister Africa Porter and the good brother Marquand McDonald. Q and Africa will be joining us on the other side of the break. We're going to continue to talk about some of these issues with the carjacking, but you want to it's an interesting way that it's kind of being portrayed. There's an interesting way that this narrative is kind of being told, and you want to dive into that. We will do that on the other side of the break. This is I Said What I Said, Herban 2 for another hour. We'll be right back.
I have a good friend with us this morning. I'm so excited. Jonathan Swain is here. KimBarkBeverage.com. We tend to talk about business a lot. We both are in family businesses. Was this the plan? Because you are second generation business owner.
Yeah. No, actually, I'll talk about it from my father's perspective, and I'll talk about it from my perspective. His perspective, he did not want me to be in this business. The liquor business has a sordid history. They call it a sin business. I mean, it's less that now, but it had a very sordid history. He didn't want me to do this. He wanted me to go off to school. My father was the first person to fire me at 9 years old. I was supposed to be at work at 11 o'clock, and I showed up 5 minutes late, walked me outside, and fired me. And I'll never be late again. So I appreciate him for that. I walked home. My mother said, well, what happened? I said, Dad fired me. What happened? I was late. He said, well, you got fired. You're late. You can't be late. Told you to get up and leave. My side of it, in many ways, I have a very unique rearing experience in that I've never seen my father work a job. So when I was born, my dad was an entrepreneur. Growing up, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be in business doing something, controlling my own destiny in some ways. In particular, my father's generation relative to us, there's not a lot of information transfer about how that works. And there's not a lot of context. It's kind of, I'm going to keep you away from the struggles I had so you don't have them. But in not seeing the struggles, you don't know how to get through the struggles. But as I've gotten older and we developed a relationship and talked about it, I began to understand a lot of the bumps and the bruises and the challenges and what makes entrepreneurship and business ownership not for the weak and weary. All the success I've had in business has been a function of with my parents. As fortunate as I am and people look to my business story, there is no business story but for them and what they did. I mean, my dad was the first black business owner in Hyde Park in the 1970s. Hyde Park, though it's welcoming and inclusive now, wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories that he would tell us about the challenge that he had being a black-owned business in Hyde Park back in the 1970s. That success comes from their legacy ultimately.
So what you see a bad mother.
Shop at Black-owned and operated Solo Beauty, where you are appreciated and respected. Located at 8158 South Cottage Grove, Solo Beauty can supply all of your black hair care needs. Solo Beauty is open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
I got that 10K the other day, but it's already gone away. I had some bills that I had to pay. I need my money. I roll the money. Y'all know the hustle. I need my money. nothing else for you. You better leave me alone. This is my round of money.
Y'all know the hustle, and y'all know how we hustle. You know I gotta secure that bag, and you know I gotta hustle. Y'all know, 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 y'all know the hustle. Nigga gon' hustle. 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 Get that bag. I need my money.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Welcome back, family. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Esco is in the production studio doing what only Esco can do. Esco, you are the absolute best. All the time. You pick everything is like pick up on everything, put it down. You fire. You the best.
Fire.
I need my money. They say only black people use like the word to emphasize the same word. You like, is you hungry? I'm hungry, but I ain't hungry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's levels of hunger.
Yeah, I'm hungry. I ain't hungry. We don't say like I ain't real hungry. I ain't hungry.
I can eat, but
I can eat, but I ain't hungry. I'm tired. I ain't tired. Anyhow, man, this is I Said What I Said. Appreciate y'all so very, very much for tuning in each and every weekday, 3 to 6 p.m. Myself and Toussaint want to get together right here with you guys and discuss issues that are impacting the black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, but more importantly, how they impact us as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We are acutely aware that you could be doing anything else, absolutely anything else. The fact that y'all are here with us is not something that we take for granted. We appreciate each and every one of you, wherever you may be tuning in from, wherever you may be, whatever platform you may be utilizing to watch it. We appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't had the opportunity to do so, please take a quick moment to share the broadcast. In the words of our good brother Eugene McIntosh, smash that share button, smash that like button. Yeah, King Salim, that dude Ricky, man, politician. On the money.
I need my money.
I can't believe y'all just had me rocking out to that too, man.
Y'all know.
It's a vibe, I suppose. Listen, man, we've been spending some time. We have been talking about the heightened awareness of carjackings in the city of Chicago. And we talked about the citywide initiative that has been put into place. And we are absolutely thrilled to be joined on the live line by Sister Africa Porter and the good brother Marquin McDonald to talk about those things and how that narrative is kind of being shaped. What are some of the stories that are being told behind it? We appreciate y'all so very, very much for taking the time. Sister Africa, how are you, Queen?
Peace. How y'all doing? Thanks for having me. I love you both, and I love your intro. Y'all was snapping. I'm loving all the shots, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we appreciate
y'all
you.
Getting
We
it in. That song was so funny.
Right
oh my
God. Q, how you feeling, good brother? What's the deal?
I'm good, brother. Excuse the noise in the background. My son is in the hospital at the very moment, getting a cast put on him. So, you know, but I'm here. You know, let's make we're gonna do this.
Oh man, he all right? I mean, obviously, you know, obviously something's broken.
He's good, man. Oh yeah, he's good, man. He's all good, man. It's better than what we thought it was. You know, we thought it was maybe some type of nerve issue. Can't even get that word out, but it's just fine, man. It's just he don't like strangers. That's all. But he's good, brother. He's good. So nobody worry. He's straight. He only He yelling because of nurses.
Well, we certainly wish him a fast recovery. Godspeed on that. Let us know if there's anything we could do to help support you and your wife while y'all are dealing with that piece. You know, he'll be fine. Boy's gonna be out here boying, and you know, he'll be cool, man. So anyway, two.
So one, I wanted you all on here for a reason. Like, in the midst of what's happening in the city, there's a plethora of teams popping up kind of citywide that are kind of acting in the same vein as we were out last week, was it? And I know you do some guys out this weekend too, protecting sisters specifically from being carjacked. So one, there's a few reasons I want you all on here, because in my mind, you all were the leaders of this movement. And then I see groups of people putting out flyers and bringing certain levels of acclaim to their name. And then a lot of times, you know, I hate to say this, but it leads into the entirety of the conversation we've been having today about morality and value sets, right? And I think a lot of people try to take credit for stuff that they didn't necessarily bring forth, you know, that they didn't necessarily do. You know, and not that credit is an issue, but, you know, we know that there's a lot of people pretending to be something that they not necessarily are. So one, I wanted you all to stand in front of this conversation because you all were the leaders of it, in my mind, you know. First I want you all to talk about what's going on, what is the initiative, what are you all doing? Then I want you all to talk about what led you all to doing it and how long you all been doing it.
Well, pretty much what happened was that first let me say this. One, this initiative has been going on for a long time. Black men have been putting in work for a very long time. Mm-hmm. But with this in particular, what happened was, you know, Sister Africa, you know, reached out to me and several other brothers in the city. And she was like, hey, you know, can we collab on some things? And she introduced the brothers. What she did was she was the glue that caused brothers like myself to link up with other brothers in other neighborhoods to get together, to come together like Voltron and put a plan of action in place. And so what we've been doing every Saturday from 11 to 1 is we are at the gas stations, at multiple gas stations within our neighborhoods, within our respective neighborhoods. And then we also have community patrols, brothers that's going through the neighborhoods to make sure that everything is okay, just on regular neighborhood blocks and on the street and whatnot. And this is just an opportunity for sisters, elders, women, children, whatever, to come through and feel comfortable getting gas and not have to worry about getting carjacked, because there's a consistent presence at that time that is there to protect you and to look out for you and to make sure that you're safe. And so we've been doing that. This is the second week in a row that we've done it. Excuse me. And I can happily say that within 2 weeks, both weekends, we've had zero incidents that happened during the times of 11 to 1. And what's funny, but not so funny, is that the incidents happen as soon as we leave at 1 o'clock. You'll hear, you know, a situation like, okay, well, you know, so what it is it's very telling that a consistent presence. And as the sister Africa put it, when men stand up, boys sit down. You can see that that is absolute true, because when the men are in the community and we're standing up and doing our thing, nothing else moves. And it's been shown for 2 weeks straight.
So, few things though. Are you all watching the broadcast as we're talking? Are you all able to see the broadcast?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
So look, be cool for a second. I want to play this video because this is going to lead into the conversation I really want to have with you guys.
That is absolute true, because when the men are in the thing and we're standing up and doing our thing,
you linked me on before I put it on.
And it's been shown for 2 weeks straight.
I don't got it up. That's not me.
Yeah, it's double time playing. I was still talking to them. I'm
just saying I don't know where that came from.
Oh, okay. But what I was asking if you all could see the broadcast. I want to play this video because really what I wanted you all to be on here for is because I'm starting to get leery of how the narrative is being shaped across the board.
Okay.
About what's happening in our city, about what's real and what's honest, versus what the narrative is being created for and why. Right? So I want you all to see this video. Hold on here. Let me get to it. You ready?
Yep.
All right. Now this is being promoted as a carjacking and a robbery in the Bronzeville neighborhood. This is like 43rd and Drexel. That's it. It's gonna replay, right? 4 shorties. I didn't see a firearm. Not to say there's not one there. I didn't see a firearm. 4 shorties. Definitely robbed the young lady. But she's still there with her car. This was on Chicago Media Takeout. For the people that follow Instagram or whatever, you know the Chicago Media Takeout has a humongous following, right? And these narratives are being shaped in a certain manner. Now, she did get robbed, and you know, not that I'm advocating for her to get robbed anyway, but she did not get carjacked. The car was left there with her, right? But these narratives are beginning to permeate. I told you the story the other day. I was talking to a sister that said, hey, man, I got carjacked too. She was like, I started my car and went back in the house, and when I came back out, they had stole it. Granted, your car was stolen,
right?
But
It
that's
wasn't a
not a carjacking, right?
Right.
And the language is important because the language creates a certain narrative that heightens a level of fear, right? And my question would have to be like, what do we think they're trying to heighten this level of fear for? Right, and then I'm gonna throw this to you, Sister Africa, because I was out there with you the other day when the media was trying to talk to you, and you was like, I remember this vehemently. You was like, man, I don't want to talk to the media. I want to we got stuff to do. I don't want to talk to the media. And then the news story comes out, and I love you, Sister Africa, so don't take this the wrong way, right? And I know your heart, right? And I know you with us, but the media reported that grouping out there as. I don't have it in front. Wait, let me see if I can find out if I put it up. No, I don't have it in front of me, I don't think. But the title of the article was something like Black Woman Galvanizes Black Men to Save Black Women. You know what I mean? It was like, and not to say that you didn't make those calls, because you did make those calls, but it creates a narrative that, like, Q goes out there every night. You know what I mean? And it's another way that even the way it was written creates this narrative of this impotent black man again, right? While chasing down these children, these unruly children that he don't take care of in the first place. The whole thing is starting to bother me about how it's being presented. You know what I mean? How the narrative is being shaped. And again, because I was out there, I saw Africa specifically saying, no, I don't want to talk to y'all. Even in the photo that they put out on the article that they got you in, they got Q standing right next to you, but no mention of black masculinity at all. It's all interesting to me, and I had to ask, like, why do we think it's being shaped in that manner?
Sister Africa, do you have any thoughts on that piece in terms of the narrative being shaped like, you know, black women are, you know, coming to save the day again for black men? Again, knowing you and knowing like your motivation for all of the work that you've ever done, I understand. I know that that's not the space that you're coming from, but do you see that in the narrative at all? And do you deem it as accurate or not?
No, I'm glad you brought this up, and I did see that, and that's exactly why, you know, I didn't even know that was you at first because you had the mask on too.
Right.
But I realized that was you later. But that's why I was just like, I ain't trying to talk to nobody. This is black men speaking at this time. This is black men doing at this time. This is black men doing what they always do. And I'll have you know that from the beginning, Q and I have been talking about this months before. And we were just talking about this earlier today. So it wasn't like a light bulb went off for Sister Africa. You know what I mean? It wasn't like let me call a few brothers now. Because if that's the case, I would have went online and utilized, you know what I'm saying, my resources and just did a whole big thing around black men who stand up already. You know what I mean? Pulled in your Barry Cutmans and yourselves and your Real Men Cooks and all the men of the community. You know what I mean? So we know that was not that. And I applaud you all for even recognizing that and seeing that, because even moving forward, you know, even last Saturday, you know, I only came last week because there were some sisters who wanted to volunteer and provide the coffee and the hot tea and the snacks for the brothers. But at this point, you know, the sisters, we understand what's happening, and we also understand we don't have to be there. We definitely don't want to be in the front of anything. You know what I mean? We do want to be there to support our men, our brothers, and I think that's to be noted as well. Sister Nicole, Dr. Nicole came out and just sponsored it on her own. You know what I mean? So I think these are the kind of things that need to be brought out when it comes to us. It was no sponsorship. It was nobody calling to do nothing. No, this is a sister who said, you know what I mean? I'm going to drop a couple $100 to make sure each location got some hot coffee because it's cold outside and it's supposed to be a snowstorm. You know what I mean? So I even made it a point to communicate with Stephen, who I talked to initially, because initially for me, it was 3 of my girlfriends that I grew up with that I saw posting about being carjacked, at gunpoint. So to me, that was like, it just really, really touched me. And they both, all of them had children, small children that they were trying to put in the car. So it looked like it was a situation where they were looking for vulnerable situations, right? Not knowing a whole lot of information about who or the motivation at that time, I just was like, wow, we got to do something. This is just too much. You know what I'm saying? Then I think one day it was like 9, maybe 2 blocks from my house, 9 carjackings in one day. Like, come on now. So that's how this whole energy space happened. But again, cue yourselves, back from 96, you know what I mean? When I first started working with Black Star, rest in peace, Brother Phil. We've been doing this, the Million Father March. Fathers have always taken their children to school. You know what I'm saying? Fathers have always picked up report cards. Fathers have always learned and known how to cook dinner and do hair, little girls' hair, everything like that. So yeah, I do think that it has taken a different wing. I was very careful in communicating with GN, CBS, Fox 2 about the inception of how this movement started and that this is not anything new. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, no, you certainly asked the question, and I appreciate it. The other piece is when you talk about these carjackings in general, is it possible that for us to be responsive to them, because I think that 1 is too many, right? And so I think that we have a responsibility and a duty to respond to them as a community. That being said, even while we are responding to them, is it possible that this narrative is being used for another agenda, right? When you talk about this entire campaign to defund the police, and then the response is, well, y'all need the police. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you why you need the police. And now you have like all these things are happening. All these things are happening. Now, again, that's not to negate the fact that these things are taking place, and certainly not to negate the fact that we have a responsibility to respond to them, right? We all 4 of us are doing that, right? But when you look at the narrative itself, do you see perhaps an ulterior motive at play here for how the narrative is being spread?
So even before either of you all answer that, we don't have to make this a hypothetical. Right, because January 29, 2021, in the Chicago Sun-Times, article that said, Rashateen carjacking shows it's time to expand the meaning of neglect, abuse of minors. The subtitle is, it isn't just a bunch of 14-year-olds who are to blame. We need to be holding their parents accountable too. We're creating a new narrative, and that's what I opened up the conversation about. We're getting ready to move toward another idea of how to create a new crime bill. How do we lock up more variants of Black people, right? So rather than just holding these children accountable for their behavior, let's make this a public discussion of how to hold their parents accountable. How do we create another barrier for this system, for this caste system that's already struggling below the poverty line, right? So it's no question in my mind that media plays a role in shaping views, right? And they're shaping a world right now where we're going to either align ourselves with the public narrative, or we got to reshape our own private narrative per se, or at least our community narrative. And that's why I thought it was important to have you both on. You all could address the question Herb asked however you want. I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, though. This was the headline of the Sun-Times a few days ago.
Literally happening, yeah. Either of you, Q or Sister Africa, have any thoughts on the narrative itself? And again, that is in no way to diminish the importance of how we respond as a community, but it is to say what is the agenda behind the narrative as it's being spread.
So this is what I'll say. Sorry about that, guys.
Are you good?
Take care of the boy. This is what I'll say. It's always been a narrative. First of all,
can you talk, Q? Where you are?
Yeah, I'm good. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. First of all, it's always been a narrative when it comes to Black men. It's been that since history. History tells you that. If anybody understands or studies our history, they'll know that it's always been that. We are the first line of defense when it comes to our family. It's as simple as that. That's why you had to weaken us. That's why when going all the way back to when we were captives,
They
Right.
want they had to weaken us. There was always been that narrative, and it's always going to be that narrative. I don't care what we do, unless we actually have a level of control where we like I heard you all talking about earlier. We don't control any media. We don't control in the radio airwaves. If we did, then it would be a different narrative, but we don't have that. So until we can control that narrative, it's always going to be that. But we don't have to fall subjective to that. What we need to be doing is putting in the work in our communities, and despite what anyone's going to say about us, your haters are going to hate. Your enemy is never going to give you the credit, ever. Never. So, it's always going to be that. Despite, no matter what. All we can do is put in the work. And that's what we've been doing. And that's what we're going to continue to do. Despite what, what are we expecting? Our enemy to say, good job? No, sir.
Right.
So it's as simple as that.
Well said. I agree.
But I think to that point, though, not that I disagree with you, I think part of putting in the work is creating the narrative, right? And being accountable to how we leverage that narrative. You know what I mean?
Oh, check them out.
What's
I
that?
know.
I don't see what y'all see.
Oh, sorry, you can't see them. You're not looking at this.
That's all good. Y'all get your all on.
Y'all see it in a minute. Y'all see it in a minute.
But I think it's also part of our responsibility to control our own narrative, because that narrative, again, dictates behavior, right? Imaging and messaging dictates behavior. It's the truth. Even the shorties that's out here carjacking are finding or seeing in the media that it's being successful, right? So it amps their ability to say, I can go out here and do this too. We have to align ourselves with the belief that media is pushing some of this. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it.
So it's all of us respond to the narrative. You know what I mean? So we have to become strategic in how we leverage all of that access to media. Right? So again, I know Sister Africa. I love Sister Africa. I know what Sister Africa heart is. I know Sister Africa has been out here in the community for as long as we've been out here.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
But we also know that there's a whole nother
She just looked like she 18. She been in these streets
Absolutely,
forever.
right? That's that good black Sister Africa got. You know what I mean? But there's an entire different contingency of our community who is not in tune with me, you, or Sister Africa, right? Who buy into the public narrative and it becomes their truth. You know what I mean? And there's much more of them than it is of us. So because we are the ones who are the movers and shakers of black culture, then we have to be much more strategic in how we communicate those messages. Or even if it's not strategic, maybe it's abrasive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This is what the fuck it is.
Yeah, Buck.
I just made another curse word. And then maybe we don't have to curse, but we have to be aggressive and communicate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
No,
means
absolutely,
don't
absolutely.
You know what,
shape
too?
the
I'm glad
narrative
you
how
said
feel
that.
the narrative should be, because your narrative is built to divide.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
It's the conversation we have now.
I'm glad you
regardless of
said
how
that.
feel
Absolutely.
about Kamala Harris,
Can I
remember
jump in?
specifically having a dialogue around Kamala Harris, and the only response was, "You just a woman hater." When I got to understand the policies she's created, but we can't have that conversation because the narrative is so divisive that it sparks this kind of angst against each other. You know what I mean?
Alvin, anybody can tell you how old the queen is?
Yes.
Go ahead, Sister Africa. I'm sorry. I was responding to a comment.
I wanted to say something to that. Can I say something to what you were just saying?
Yes, ma'am. Please go right ahead.
Oh, okay. I think that I think the importance of last Saturday's demonstration, seeing Sister Naima from the Female Solution, seeing Crime Chaser, seeing a lot of young Black people doing their own podcasts, you know what I mean, just going live on the spot. You know, seeing all of that was very powerful because, like you said, too, we have to, combat what's happening, the narrative that's being changed, that's being shifted, controlled, how we look at it, and have our own. You know what I mean? The best way, I think, to do that is to create our own, which is what, we're doing here at What's in It for the Black People Media.
Absolutely.
So seeing the sister out there, you know what I'm saying? Carolyn Ruff, you know what I'm saying? Karen Hicks, a few good women. All these sisters and brothers came out there and they did their own, media takeout, if you will. And they were controlling it and asking the right questions and, directing everything to the men, you know what I'm saying? And the women who were there to serve, you know what I'm saying? And to be there for them. So I think it's interesting that we're having this conversation. I appreciate it because I'm never going to have it with my children. I always have to have a takeaway.
It's necessary.
So for me, it would be to have that conversation with them and find out how they're viewing this. You know what I mean? Because as a mother to young men, my children are both adults now, and they are like, Mom, you know what I'm saying? Go on and sit down. Like, come on, Ma. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on. And I'm just trying to tell them, like, you know, part of the conversation around galvanizing and organizing, you know, us as a community, as a people, as a force, as a movement, you know, is so that you all understand, you know what I mean, the torch will be passed. Right. You all will grow up, you know what I'm saying, in this world, and there is expectation and accountability for you as well.
So listen, what we doing? Can you all hear me good? Because I got this mask. Cause I'm sorry, guys.
Got you good. We got you.
Okay. This is absolutely
too,
necessary.
by the way.
See, that's what I was just about to say. Something about that. Okay. This wasn't intentional. I threw that sweatshirt on today because I support my people. That's where we change the narrative at. We support each other. We back each other. We protect each other. We guard each other. We save each other. We build each other. This is simple as that. We keep each other accountable. That's what we're doing. And the fact that this is a cultural thing. You know, I've had a few people talk to me about the night patrols, and they say, well, you know, y'all need to start an LLC, and you know, you can create this and create that. And I was even talking to Sister Africa about it. I said, this isn't an organization. We got too many organizations and not enough community. We got too many organizations and not enough community. This was about community building. This was about village building. This was about getting men out in the neighborhood, get up. Let's get together, brothers, and let's do what we need to do and put in our duty. And all of those men, none of them bucked back. All of them agreed. All of them was like, yo, let's go. Let's do it. We just had to come together and create a plan. That's all it was. We got a plan and how we going to be strategic and how we going to attack this thing. That's it. Because, you know, we out there, what we're doing is we're interrupting a force. So we want to make sure that we do it strategically, we do it tactically, and that we do it in a way where it doesn't harm any of our people, including ourselves. Right. But we know what comes with protection, and we know what we're dealing with. We are facing multiple threats, multiple enemies. And when I say threats, I mean, you're dealing with the major threat is white supremacy. We already understand that. So what we're going to do is control the narrative by doing what we're doing here. Me rocking this shirt is a revolutionary act to what these fools out here want to sit there and portray. You know what I'm saying? What we do every Saturday, that's a revolutionary act. All right. What we're doing is we're not going to allow someone with their wicked ass narrative, excuse me, I'm sorry, but you know what I mean, to control and dictate to us how we get down, knowing how we actually get down. What I'm doing right now, I'm here with my son.
Right.
I'm at the hospital with my son.
Right.
The role that they want to say. As a matter of fact, the nurses was all like, man, you ain't, because I taught karate here in this hospital too. You know, I teach my karate program. I set my phone up and was teaching my program. Africa was like, hey, you know, maybe we should reschedule this. No. This message is important. We ain't gonna reschedule. No. We're gonna go ahead and get this message out to the people. All of this is crucial. I can make the adjustment. I can go ahead and make it work.
In fullness, man. You show up in your fullness in every single capacity. So while you are simultaneously showing up in your fullness as a father, you are also showing up in your fullness as an instructor, also showing up in your fullness as a brother, also showing up in your fullness as a community leader. And that is to be commended. And we talk about, turning the night patrols into an organization. I think certain things kind of need to be off the book. Certain things don't need to be so official because of some of the things that may come along with those types of things. Some things kind of just need to be off script in that kind of way. And so I applaud just kind of doing it that way. I will say this: when other people want to step up and be community and be a part of community, talk about not enough organizations. I mean, too many organizations and not enough community. When people do want to be community, allow them to be community, right? So even if this is about brothers on night patrol and going out and handling business that way, cool. But sisters say, hey, how can we support? Whether that's, making sure y'all had a meal that evening, or making sure, y'all got some resource to get this and that taken care of. That's people showing up in community, and I want you to accept that, because again, even when you weren't even here on one of the shows last week when we were talking about you again, and we had mentioned the fact that Adrian had said when you were here that she wanted to support with some donations if she could, and you was like, nah. But then the next week, somebody else, I think it was Nicole or somebody else, was like, we want to be able to support too. So when those things come through, allow people to be community in that way as well. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not talking about it on this official capacity.
Man, so real quick, I just want to address that. And I want to first say thank you, Adrian, and thank you to everybody that has reached out. And Adrian, tell you, if you are watching, I don't know, but tell your mother I'm going to keep my word to her on what I said, and that I will not let. I told her mother, and I told Africa's mother, I told all my elders, I'm not going to let you down. I'm not. But with that being said, about donations, so I came up with a solution. I am going to go ahead and create a system to where we can take donations. However, what's going to happen is, what we're going to do is we're going to have a monthly report where the community can see where their money has been spent. Exactly. Meaning, if they're going to invest in the community patrol, then every month they will see a full report on where the money has been allocated and what it's been spent on, so they know that, okay, they just not out here lollygagging. Yeah, so if we needed green vest, exactly. If we needed green vest, cool. If we needed gas, cool. If we needed coffee, cool. If we needed resources and supplies, cool. But the community can see, okay, this is where my donation went to, because it's a community effort. This is not cute. This is not Africa. This is not Tu. This is not her. This is us. Mm-hmm. This is everybody that's watching Is Wiz right now. This is everybody that's a part of the what's in it for the Black People Media. This is everybody that said that's my next door neighbors. Man, yesterday was so beautiful to see Black men and Black women. We was all out together and niggas were shoveling each other out. I'm like, man, this is gorgeous. This is the us thing. We got us. That's it. We got us. So that's the movement right there, bro. That's the movement.
That's real spill. That's real spill, man.
No, I agree. And that's why I wanted them both over Moon, right? Because we do, by doing what we just do, by living in our wholeness, we changing the narrative.
That's it.
You know what I mean? But that's important. We know we small people on the map, right? And we just got to grow the conversation. So every chance we get to grow the conversation, we're going to grow the conversation. You know, I was talking to Q about this earlier. Now I said to Q, I said, CBS got a real big mic, right? But the only thing we got to do is stop tuning in. And that mic goes away.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
And that's also why, you know, when you hear me or you hear Eugene, like, imploring y'all to, like, share the broadcast, it's so we can continue to grow a Black media platform to where we can tell our stories in authenticity without them being skewed or mistold or misdirected in any kind of way. Like, we can tell them authentically, we can tell them unapologetically, unashamedly, tell our stories. And so, you know, we talk about how important you all are to growing this platform and this network. It is like nothing but sincere when we say how important y'all are to this entire mission. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And so it's not just like, hey, share this thing so more people can know that Herb is running his mouth today. Nah, it's about making sure that, you know, this Black media platform continues to grow so that our stories can be told by us and for us.
Man, it's the same. It's the same GameStop conversation. Right? The reason why they was able to take down those large conglomerates is because they leveraged social media to share an idea, right? And that idea was attached to capital, right? This idea is attached to community. We have to find that same reason to invest in capital that we invest in community, right? I keep telling y'all, capital grows out of community. Community don't grow out of capital, right? So if you share and grow community, you'll grow capital too, right? We just got to change our perspective. So, you know, sharing the narrative is one thing, but growing the conversation is most important.
Right.
You know, I agree. Yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate both of y'all for coming on, man. That's really the bulk of the questions I had about it. That's why I wanted to address it, because I saw, you know, Channel 2 create the narrative that they did. I saw the video from Media Takeout where the sister did get robbed, and I'm not justifying it, but it does create a different kind of narrative.
Absolutely. Hey, can I say one more thing before y'all let me go? Can I say
recognize that there's an agenda being pushed while also standing in the space to address it and be responsible for it and be accountable to what's taking place in our community. So you can do both. Obviously, we're getting both of those things done. But it's like, yeah, well, we're going to get out here and do this work. We also not going to let y'all run amok with this narrative about what's happening in our community, who's doing what, why, and when. Like, nah. We
reshaping from victim to victim. That's it.
Hey, real quick. Also, something that needs to be pointed out. Something else that needs to be pointed out, fellas.
You all are the absolute best of what it is to be Black, what it is to be community, what it is to be a leader. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all sincerely. And you know, the work will continue. We'll be talking as we always do.
Hey, Herb.
Q, y'all make sure
Herb.
little man is all good and that he's sitting there chilling, man. They didn't got him all upset, so now he's sitting there relaxing. But he'll be back on the men in no time, man. So
real quick,
Hey,
Herb,
Herb, can you hear me?
asking, you know, how can I get in tune with Q? One,
So,
Marquin
I can't-
McDonald
I
on
don't know.
Facebook, I know for sure. But if you all are out at the, do you all have like a regular meeting spot before you go out to the gas stations on Saturdays? Is it just the same one on Lake Park?
So can you all hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, so yeah, two things. One, we meet up when we go out on Saturdays. If anyone wants to meet us to do community patrol on Saturdays, from 11 to 1 for Community First Safe Passage Initiative. If you want to meet us, you can meet us at the Marcus Garvey Center, which is at 330 East 37th Street. From there, you just get some basic instructions on the do's and don'ts of what we're out there for. And then we meet over to 52nd and Lake Park, where we meet the other brothers as a collective. If anyone's interested in meeting and working in Bronzeville. However, if you want to work within the capacity of other communities and neighborhoods, for example, if you live in Woodlawn, or you live in Hyde Park, or you live in Roseland, there are other brothers in Leeds that you can meet up with as well. Meet us at 52nd and Lake Park at 10:30 a.m. Or you can meet me if you want to help work out in Bronzeville at 9:45 a.m. Excuse me, I meant to say 9:45 a.m. at the Marcus Garvey Center at 330 East 37th Street. And also, you can just email me directly at bronzevillecp at gmail.com. That's bronzevillecp, which stands for Community Control, at gmail.com. And then we also have, for those who want to just get together and work in totality with the initiative, complete with the initiative, like, hey, we just want to donate to the initiative or we want to give resources. We also have, which is a Community First Safe Pump at gmail.com as well, because we have that email also. So if anybody wants to get out there and work with us.
So this is what we'll do, man. I'll link up with you later on the day or tomorrow, and we'll create some kind of communication that we can just post on all our social media sites with all that information.
Boom.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry I gave all that, man. I hope that wasn't so much for everybody.
No, that's
But,
what's
can I
up.
say one more? Can I have 30 seconds to say something?
Yeah,
real
no,
quick,
that's what I was about to
just
say.
wanna this.
Apparently, I was stepping on you trying to say something, and everybody's like, Herb, Q trying to say something. So my bad. I didn't see you was trying to get that out, but go ahead. The floor is yours, my brother.
No, I just wanted to say this too. When we go out there, we are not this is not about criminalizing our young boys or our youngsters out here. This is about, this is about being a deterrent. We're not the police department or nothing like that. However, there's been a very disturbing narrative that's being pushed along with what Tu was talking about. And all I see on Instagram, and I'm not Instagram, on Facebook, is people talking about kill, 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 shoot, 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 get your gun, and they run up on me, air them out, lock them up, and all this. I don't think people really understand the deeper narrative that's going to, and the turn that's going to take. Listen, y'all, I understand if somebody runs up on you and you have the absolute right to defend yourself, defend yourself. Please believe you me, I'm ready. I get it. However, at the same time, if you can run your mouth that way, you can also get up and put some work into the community and connect with these young boys and connect with these kids and these shorties out here, as many other people do. So we need preventative measures as well. We don't need no reactionary steps when we talk about killing some kid. I get it. I understand if a young man run up and they put a gun in your face and you need to defend yourself, or a young woman does it or something and you got to defend yourself. By all means, you have the right, and I go for it. Defend yourself. What I'm saying is that there needs to be more talk than just kill, kill, kill. We need to be building, building, building. All right, and tearing whatever it is, the system that created this whole situation in the first damn place. How many of us are getting out here and volunteering at these schools? How many of us are really opening our mouths and speaking to these shorties? How many of us are out here going out here trying to work and connect with them? So don't sit there and just talk about killing and kill. Hell, I just saw a couple videos this morning of some people at the gun range that disturbed me. These people that are gonna be out here, they would shot everybody and their mama and their kids, thinking that they out here trying to be John Wick. Right. Calm down. I understand it's an emotional time. I understand that the narrative brings fear, but we need to be. This is about village right now, and we need all solutions. We don't need just happy-go-lucky mofos that's on some anger and fear type stuff to be out here. Let me go grab a gun type shit. No. What other solutions can we come up with that goes along with defending yourself? Come in love, yo. Come in love.
Gotta come in love. You breaking up, Q. So we gonna offer Sister Africa the floor for any closing remarks. Sis, you got anything you want to close out with?
I was going to say thank you for having us, and thank you for everything that you all are doing. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Just thank you for having us, and thank you for everything that you are continuing to do. I love you all so much, and it's only going to happen because we make it happen. You know, we are our own solution.
Indeed, Queen. Indeed. Thank y'all so much for taking out the time. We appreciate y'all and everything y'all do. I know y'all will continue to do it. Love y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.
Love y'all.
That was Sister Africa Porter and the good brother Marquand McDonald, kind enough to hop on with us and just talk about, some of these narratives that have been going around and what that kind of looks like.
We got 46 minutes left. I mean, no, we
got 14 minutes left, but okay.
14 minutes left.
I feel you.
Right. But I want to reiterate what Q just said, right? Be proactive in love and not reactive in hate. You know what I mean? I fully agree, right? It's even when I was thinking about the wave of projected carjackings, right? There was the murder of the firefighter that happened, and every other murder since then has been a murder of a child. It was the predator that died rather than the prey. You know what I mean? So in essence, if it is a 500% jump like the media is portraying, then that means that 99% of it has been vastly violentless. Violenceless. You know what I mean? Violentless, or whatever you ever say the word. Right? So there's the rest of the narrative that's being shaped is this kind of vigilante kind of attitude.
Sure.
Against our children.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Which goes back to the how are the children statement. Our children are being seen as savages. And this has been a narrative that's been being created over time.
Not worthy of love, not worth time and attention, just to be thrown away. Either locked up or murdered.
Throw them away.
Yeah.
Which is in turn led to the crime bill.
Exactly.
I mean?
Which will mean 20 years from now.
Same energy.
We're gonna talk about these 20-year-olds now. We got to lock them all up, right? 20 years from now, they kids who are 1 or 2 years old right now, they're gonna be out here running crazy, doing something else.
But what's the
y'all gonna be like, no, lock them up? How many generations we gonna lock up before y'all get y'all butts out here in the streets and do something?
But what's the definition of crazy?
To continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different outcome.
Result. Right?
Yeah.
And the reason why we keep doing the same thing over and over again, because the cyclical understanding of our identity is shaped in the essence of what it means to be white. Think about that. Like, if we allow media to shape our narrative because it creates our identity, it's only in reference to our value to white society.
Right.
And thus far, our value to white society has been as servants or prisoners or slaves. Right? And how do you create the paradigm where we champion ourselves to be going back into these positions? Right? The 98 crime bill created a championing of sending black fathers, brothers, uncles, cousins to the penitentiary. Right? Because of crack cocaine. Right? I told you about the narrative of the crack baby the other day. Right? Think about how pervasive that narrative was.
Crack baby.
When even women addicted to crack was only producing less than 1% of actual babies born addicted to crack cocaine. But we still use that in our terminology today to define
a whole generation
acting out of character. Oh, look at this old crack baby. That's how pervasive the narrative was when less than 1% of
80s babies,
women
crack babies
addicted to crack was producing crack born children. You know what I'm saying? So those narratives have power.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Those narratives have power. They shoot them up. The kids don't have no value.
Yeah.
If we go back to the Sun-Times article, right, the very title is "A Rash of Teen Carjacking Shows It's Time to Expand the Meaning of Neglect, Abuse of Minors." It isn't just a bunch of 14-year-olds who are to blame. We need to be holding their parents accountable too.
Yeah.
Creating.
We setting the foundation to lock up all these people.
Foundation for a new crime bill. Right, and the onus of that is going to be on us if we fall victim to the same.
And you got the author of the previous crime bill, and you got the prosecutor from California,
and we elected both of them.
You know what I'm saying?
We elected them.
Oh yeah, we put them in there. Us,
we,
yeah,
right?
Because we don't We don't see this thing, and we don't see the big
But
picture.
why
of
do
it.
we elect them? We elected them because of our response to fear instead of information.
Fear is a hell of a motivator. That's why they're using fear to motivate people to allow this new legislation to come in.
But fear,
It's the
that fear specifically, is only validated via our ignorance.
That's it. And cowardice. Like it's like you talking about cowards. When you talk about these people who are like, oh, kill these kids. Like, man, shut up. You wouldn't kill now one of them, first of all. Okay? You scared to talk to him. You ain't finna shoot him. Shut your clown ass up. You are a goofy. That's what you are, right? Stop being a coward and address them, right? Deal with them. Invest some time and some energy into them. Kill them. You ain't gonna kill nothing, fool. Shut up. You ain't never seen nobody get killed, shot. Like, that will blow your mind to see that. Shut up. You are a clown.
But we got 9 minutes left, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could cue me up on the video joint.
Sure.
Cause I'm gonna show you what Q was talking about.
That's them dudes specifically get on my nerve. When you talk about these men that be on that, it irks my soul when they. I'm gonna kill him. I got my concealed. Boy, shut up. You ain't gonna do nothing at all. You the same type of clown that'll get accosted by some white people somewhere and pull out your phone, record yourself crying about it. Shut your ass up. Kill these 15, 16-year-olds. Miss me with that.
You got me up.
No, I don't got you up. I wasn't ready. Here you go. Now you up.
But this is what Q was talking about the gun range, right? This even having a gun is
Look at her.
It's a skill, man. Look at this, man.
She had no idea the power that was gonna come out of that gun.
Shoot us up.
Yeah. Dude crazy for walking up behind her because she was that gun was finna go crazy. Like
full out full.
Like
full out full. Right?
She can't handle and she can't stop pulling the trigger.
she can't
her
stop pulling
finger's
the
stuck
trigger.
in there.
Yeah.
Like she's not she's not in control of that thing no more.
She's reacting to the kickback.
Yeah, it's she can't stop doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, sweetheart.
But it's those kind of narratives that's being pushed that, as long as you got a weapon on you, you good money. Just because you got a weapon don't mean nothing. It really don't.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
Nah.
It don't. So we just, that's not the end all be all to our issues.
Nah, not at all.
It's
like,
not.
Like what Trigger Mike used to say? Like, man, all you do, you go get you a gun. All you doing is arming yourself with the weapon that the other person finna kill you with, fam. You ain't prepared for it.
Real talk.
You ain't ready for it. You're not even ready for how your body is going to physically respond in that moment.
Let me tell you what my street homies tell me.
Mm-hmm.
If you not gonna shoot them, don't you even let them know you got it.
Nah.
Because if they know you got it,
They gonna make
coming
you come
to
out
get
with it. Yeah. They gonna make you come out with it. And once you come out with it, you got to be ready to go all the way. So putting this gun on your hip and now you walking around like you tough. If you ain't finna bust that thing, fam, all you doing is arming your enemy. They gonna take that joint from you. Stop playing. What?
I'm trying not to be.
She not standing straight because what?
No, Alvin's comment. So I'm not.
Her big old booty keeping her balanced.
It's like, how could you miss that part? It anchored her in.
Hey man, that's you know what I mean? Like let's just stop with the foolishness, man.
Change the screen, Herb. You got Eric up there now.
My bad, I'm tripping.
Shout out to the what we go call this?
Young kid, man. It's my man's in them.
Yeah,
he young on that picture though.
Young Eric, it's on the 9. G, we on the 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. He grew fast. That was only like 2016 or something.
Yeah, that wasn't long at all.
I didn't grow quick. But yeah, man, if you got you got to be prepared for these things. So anytime I hear people talking that type of stuff about what need to happen to these, miss me with it, fam. Miss me with it. And I'm the first to say that everybody can't go. We ain't gonna be able to save everybody. Some people are just too far gone. They too committed to the life that they committed to, and it is what it is. But to think that we can afford to lock up another generation of kids, you out of your mind.
All of our answers to all of our problems, right? I've said this before on there. I said, every problem that the black community has will be solved with the eradication of white supremacy, right? And I truly believe that every problem that the black community has will be solved with the eradication of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that the eradication of white supremacy just creates a space and place where we can operate in the pureness of our humanity and love one another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all it takes. The answer is love, man.
That's it.
So you coming out here with hate and it just spreads. It's like a disease. It's contagious, right?
Yeah.
So even to the morality conversation, we're going to keep going back to this, right? Even to the morality conversation, right? My value asset is only attached to things because innately I hate myself. So that's what gives the 10-year-old the value to go outside with that gun and pull a grown person about their car. What I got to live for? Just like that lady pulling that trigger, right? That gun is giving her push, it's kicking back right now. But that's at a piece of paper. You hit something.
She's not under any threat.
But if you hit something, the mental experience of hitting
That's what I'm
something
saying, G.
is very different.
Like that's right? Not something
If you ain't shot an animal, shooting a human is something completely different. You have to be in a different. It's hard to shoot an animal.
It's not something you prepare for, man.
It's different. It's difficult to kill anything.
It's not something you prepare for. The damage that you see. You know what I mean? Like that gun looked like a 40 caliber gun that she was shooting, and the 40 cals got so much kick and they so damn loud, bah bah bah, and the damage that they do, man, you see that, it'll blow your mind. What comment you looking at?
Says, let's not be naive. When it's all said and done, some kids will be shot and killed. We won't be able to save all of these. And I don't have the rest of that up.
All of these kids, but we can only try to help in our own ways. I agree.
So it bothers me though when we write it like, let's not be naive. Which part is naive? The belief in hope? Because you believe in Joe Biden. Which part is naive? And that's part of the dominion of our self-hate. We're naive because the white man's ice is colder. We can believe that he's a savior.
We can believe that Joe Biden is a savior, but we can't believe that a 15-year-old is making poor decisions now.
That gun range is a believer that gun is going to save her.
When clearly she's about to blow her own head off.
Clearly she finna. So part of the power of humanity is that if you believe, you can achieve. Let's not be naive and diminish our self-value. We can do whatever the hell we say we gonna do. And I owe you $1. No, hell didn't count.
No, hell don't count.
I win.
I you telling the truth, right?
And I think not a knock. It's just about how we view ourselves.
And again, everybody ain't gonna go. Some people just not gonna be able to go. I get that piece, but as many of our young people as we can save, we need to be about the business of saving them. That takes love, that takes gumption, that takes courage, and most of the people who sit out and just talk about them being killed or thrown away, like that, those aren't people who are gonna address them. Now, again, like we always say, it ain't everybody's role to get on the street level and do it like that. Other people are going to support in their own ways, like Adrian was saying. Find your own way to support. Cool. But either way, as many of our young people as we can save, we need to, just for the simple fact that we can't afford to be throwing that many people away. We ain't that deep out here, right? So we need all hands on deck. We are out of time. I want to thank y'all so very, very much for tuning in to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. Special thanks to Sister Africa Porter and the good brother Marquin McDonald for joining us. Thanks to all of y'all for y'all input. It's always valued. It is always appreciated. Thank y'all so much for continuing to be a part of this conversation, for continuing to help it grow and help it spread. We appreciate that as always. Y'all make sure y'all get up real early, hang out with the Ruthie Moore Show. Stick around for the Book of Dawn, then hang out on the green side of things before we come right back here. Oh, and then is it Minding My Own Black Business, or is it Parenting? Okay, Minding My Own Black Business with Tennille. Yeah, and then on the green side of things. We'll be back here, same time, same place at 3 p.m. for Sonia Escobar, for Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, y'all be good to each other. Go test some work.
I'm about that life. You ain't really about that life. If you really about that life, JC, spit a key. Let me test your work. Boss, you the boss. Let me test your work. Jesus, you talking breezy. Let me test your work. Cam, you the man. Let me test your work. Dre and Snoop like that chronic. I need something stronger. Molly cute, that's like an aspirin for my daughter. Big time in the club with a case of Ace, and now I stiff that whole table. Scarface, another court case. I'm a frequent offender. When Wyclef was hot, I was gone to November. 6 years, hard time. Bobby was fucking up. Whitney could have been mine. We would have been so high and so in love. When Amy Winehouse died, I could have saved her. I could have smoked like half of that. She wouldn't have had to go in cardiac arrest. Hands up under her dress. Lindsay Lohan, her mess, but I still go off her breast. I must confess, I heard from a little birdie. Bring some crystal meth, you can get that from Fergie. Had a real nice dream, me and Charlie Sheen. Few Playboy bras, I was high in Rob Ford. Brick after brick, like Shaq at the free throw. I stayed hard, I put coke in my pee hole.